Hello there. And we are live. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to people. I mean, it's a show opener, people.
Yeah.
You know what it is, people, yeah?
Arsenal Unhinged.
This is the season premiere of my show. See, people, yeah, it takes a lot. I mean, I've been doing this now for nearly 4.5 years, nearly 5 years, people, yeah. People, I've cemented my own legacy. It is what it is, yeah, people. But when I change, yeah, people, when I change, yeah, my status picture to this show, it means that I really trust in this show. It means I'm putting a lot in this show. It means I respect this person. I've never done it. People, I've been around the best in the business. Daps, people, yeah. I've sparred with Daps. Yeah, how about that? I've sparred with people, name them, Lee Gunner. Yeah, see, people, all the hot heaters in the business. I've been there and done that with them. Yeah, so I'm not starstruck in any way. Yeah, that's just to let you guys know. But people, if I'm to change my status picture to this show with this brother I'm about to introduce again to the channel, people, with our first show, yeah, episode 1 today in the season premiere of this amazing show, people, it means I really respect this brother and people, yeah. For me and him to come together to do this show, it means a lot to me, people. People, welcome to the channel again on season premiere of the Arsenal Unhinged Premier League Takeout, people. No other person, yeah? No other person than Dayo of the Arsenal people. You get the pull. How about that? Pull.
The champ is here.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, this your
Dayo,
intro.
welcome to the show, my brother, man. How you doing,
intro.
man? How you feeling about the season premiere of our new show?
Yeah. Arsenal Unhinged. Man, look, this is your intro. You want to bust my head. Chill now, relax. It's just us. It's just normal people like us. We don't have any we just want to talk about our team, agree to disagree, come up with all the interesting things that are happening in the club and and just enjoy the whole program, So yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for asking me to do this show. Guys, like the video, smash the like button, share, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We're going to be doing this regularly. It's going to be Arsenal Unhinged. You hear Unhinged. You know what that means? You are going to hear some mad things from me and some normal things from me. It's going to
crazy things, bro.
It's gonna be what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be what it is.
Man. Exactly.
But I'm gonna try to keep it football as much as I can without actually, just saying crazy stuff. But yeah, thank you guys for for tuning in. And yeah, like I said, like the video, subscribe, and let's get the show on the road. Let's get it on the road, man.
Let's get the show on the road, people. This guy doesn't mess about. I mean, it's all about Arsenal, true and true. See, Dayo, yeah. I mean, let's chime into the news of the century, yeah. I mean, see, Dayo, let me just give you footnotes to what we're dealing with. Let me give you footnotes to what we're dealing with, yeah. See, a couple of weeks ago, Arsenal, was rumored to be going for Morgan Rogers. I didn't really believe that Arsenal was going for that guy. People, let's be serious. I did not really believe Arsenal really wanted Morgan Rogers. If we wanted him, we would have gone there and stopped the cash for him and got him, people. Yeah. Chelsea came into the fray, gazumped the deal, and Morgan Rogers is now a Chelsea player. Kudos to Chelsea. The second player, yeah, that Chelsea is almost finishing that particular deal is Maxence Lacroix. And Lacroix is a Crystal Palace player. I think is a mid-average central defender, people, yeah. I call him the lady of the night, yeah. He goes to the clubs and does dish out STD. People, you know what, yeah? Do you know how many penalties Lacroix even gave to Arsenal just last season? Up to about 2 penalties. And he dishes it out to other teams in the Premier League. So it is what it is. Chelsea gazumped that deal. Yeah. Right now, they're about selling, they're about getting Lacroix. Good deal, no problem. Manchester United have already picked up Sanchez, yeah, from Chelsea. Who again did they bring in? They brought in one more player. There's one more midfielder they brought on. what's his name? Whomever they brought in, yeah. Sancho's and one of the guy they brought in. I'm talking about Man United. One more player. They brought one more player apart from Sancho's. People remind me because those names don't ring a bell. Yeah. But you know what? Yeah. Arsenal today, the news today came out, people. Yeah. Arsenal mocking their Premier League rivals. Yeah. By just simply going to Real Madrid and saying, you know what? Yeah. We have a gentleman's agreement with you guys for Vinicius Jr. See, Dayo, talk to these people, man.
No, I mean, like,
Vinicius Jr. to Arsenal.
Talk
to them. Let them know. Big up to everyone in the charts. Don is here. Big up to Don. Big up to the assembled. Inconsistentino is down here. Chime into the charts. Vinicius Jr. to Arsenal. People, this is it. Dayo, talk to these people.
Yo, man. So, like I was saying, so my thing is this, right? I want to correct, like, the whole Morgan Rogers thing. Let me start with the Morgan Rogers thing. But the whole Morgan Rogers thing, we wanted him. We did want him. But one thing that Arsenal has done that I back is they were very, very, very resolute with what they decided they wanted to do financially. They're like, this is what we value at 90, and that is it. We're not going a dime above 90. Now, Aston Villa were very smart. I think the club that will benefit the most is Aston Villa in all of this. Chelsea had to pay 117 upfront. That money is not amortized. So Chelsea fans should stop lying to themselves that Rodgers chose them. They asked them for 117 upfront, no additions, we want 117 done. And Chelsea obliged it. There's no 50% upfront and 50% next year. There's no amortization over 5 years. So of course, when you pay that kind of money, he's a Villa asset. Villa, he doesn't have a say anymore. He doesn't have a say. And then, of course, they did the ad, and he said, "I'm going to the biggest club in London." We've seen Chelsea.
Liar.
Hold on.
Liars.
We've seen Chelsea do this before with Aubameyang. They write the script and they make you read it. They make you read the script just because they're trying to look for. That's all they have, though, because that's all they have, realistically. But then to the Vinny Jr. Thing, I spoke about this 3 weeks ago, or 2-3 weeks ago on a stream, and they asked me who's the left winger that I would go for, and I said Vinicius Jr. is available right now, not because he wants to leave Real Madrid, but he's not signed a new contract. He has 1 more year on his contract. We've seen in the past that a year and 18 months to 2 years on his contract left, he usually signs. Ever since he's been at Real Madrid, the usual thing, he's renewed his contract at least 2 years before. He's into the last year of his contract. He hasn't signed that contract. Madrid are looking at another left winger to bring in. When Mourinho was there earlier, him and Mourinho did not have the best relationship when the first time Mourinho was there. Yeah. So there's all these different factors that I'm just like, maybe any club that, can go sway him from England. And he's won everything he needs to win in Spain. He's won the Champions League with Madrid. He's won the Copa del Rey with Madrid. He's won the La Liga with Madrid. He's won, Player of the Month many times. He's won Club World Cup. He's won everything with Madrid. So the question is, can he still stay in Madrid and thrive? Yes. But does he want a different challenge and wants to win another type of trophy somewhere? Yes. Maybe come to England. And if we're saying come to England, let's ask ourselves the true question. Which club right now, and I'm saying right now as of today, is the club that probably has the most pulling power for him to come to? He's not going to go to City, not because City is not a well-run club, but because of the issues that City is facing. Because again, a player like him is like, I don't want to be in and around this. That's number one. Number two, players like Rodri are being rumored that they want to leave. So some of the best players in City are leaving. He's not coming there to just be the only guy. That's number one. He's not going to Chelsea because he just played under Xavi Alonso recently. And it didn't really, it wasn't, Xavi
didn't work out. It did not work out.
Let me be fair. Xavi had a 70% win ratio, but it didn't work out with the player management in the locker room. So that is something that I think maybe might dissuade him from going back to the same circle of like, hey, I've worked with this guy. So the way we vibed wasn't the best. Boom. Let's throw Tottenham out of the window. They're not going to go for him. United, is he going to go to United to stay under Carrick and start again? If there's any club in England that actually has the clout right now that can pull him, it's Arsenal, because we are the current champions. And we made it to the Champions League final last season. And I think that's encouraging enough for him to say, hey, If I come in there and it's me, Saka, and a good striker up front, we had the best defense in Europe last year. Even throughout the Champions League, we conceded the least goals on our way to the final. So he already knows that he's got good defense behind him. All he needs to do is come and play regular football and do his thing. So it's going to be a tough thing to bring him. Let's be honest. It's going to be tough. But I like that while making those type of moves. I like that David Oyston is the one saying it. I like to hear stuff like that from my club. Like, you know what? Go give it a shot. Go give it a shot. Like, why be afraid? Like, what's the big deal? The worst that will happen is a no, right? That's the worst that's going to happen.
Wait, Dayo. When you say this deal will be tough, what makes you say it's going to be tough? Because we already know in the news that Real Madrid wants Olise or Diamonde. Yeah, they want any of those two players right now. In fact, Real Madrid has stumped up £100 million for Yan Diamonde, and Olise rumors is refusing to go off. He hasn't signed a new deal. He has 1 year left in his contract. They run a risk of that contract heading into a free.
The reason why I said it's going to be tough.
They don't want to risk that. Why is that? Why is that something big? Why is that a huddle for Arsenal to go?
It's not for us. It's not Arsenal that will have the huddle. It's the way Madrid does business. Madrid don't mind running the deal till he's free. Madrid don't mind. Let me tell you about Madrid that you don't realize. Doing business with them, they are the tough ones to do business. It's not like Arsenal will be. When I said it will be tough, it's not the money. It's not the issue of like, oh, can we convince him? Maybe we can. We can speak to him, and he probably says he wants to come. But Madrid is that team that if they decide that they're going to do something, they would rather let the person go for free next season, and then you can have him. That's your business. But they will spoil the deal for you. Madrid are difficult to deal with. They're very difficult to deal with. When we did the Odegaard deal, right? Hold on.
We got the Odegaard deal over the line. There wasn't any problem.
When we listen. When we
got the Odegaard deal over the line,
what was
the
first
in this, bro?
What was the first thing?
One of that Spanish player we got from them.
What was the first thing?
Deal went through easily.
You know how? No, they didn't go through easily. Don't lie to. Let's not lie to the people. It didn't go through easily. The Odegaard loan, the first loan of Odegaard was difficult to get through. Madrid did not even want to loan him to us. We had to give them an assurance that the following season, if we wanted him, we were going to pay 35 million for somebody who they never played off the bench. Meanwhile, we paid all his wages in the loan. We paid them about, I think, 5 million upfront and still paid Odegaard. So my point is, Madrid is a difficult club to deal with. That's why I said it's going to be tough. Not that we cannot get it done. There's nothing wrong with it being tough. If it's tough, it's tough. We get through the tough times, get the player, and we move on. Let's not make it sound like, oh, because we're Arsenal, we're just going to walk in there, throw the money down. Dude, these guys are going to turn around and tell you, okay, yeah, you want to throw the money down. We don't want to sell him. See what they did with Mbappe at PSG. They made sure Mbappe went for free before they got him. They are that difficult to deal with. They could have gotten Mbappe the season.
They are on the receiving end of that deal, so it makes sense. Anyway.
Yeah, but they don't. But that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying they don't care though. We've seen Madrid do this many times. Like this is a Madrid thing that they're. So again, it's going to have to be the relationship we built with them over time. We're going to have to be able to go in there and use that relationship. Now, that's one. Even if we convince the club, the second person that needs convincing is Vinny himself. The question is, does Vinny want to leave Spain? Is Vinny interested in coming to the Premier League? Does Vinny want to leave the Spanish league? If Vinny doesn't want to leave, there's nothing that we can do. We would have to wait till next season when he's free, or if he decides to sign a new contract for another 4 or 5 years, which he could probably turn around and do tomorrow. He could turn around and do that tomorrow if he doesn't want to leave. So,
but the fact is there. If Real Madrid wants to bring in this new recruits that they're talking about, that we're hearing about, like Yan Diamonde and Olise, you really need to trim not just your wage structure. You need to also put in room for the big wigs to actually find space to actually play. If Yan Diamonde comes in, Olise comes in, that would drive Vinicius Junior's chances down the pecking order there.
If you're talking about the left wing, Diamande will not come to Real Madrid and start over Vinny. That's the first thing I'll let you know. Diamande is not a replacement. Diamande is literally because they just Madrid just entered the race for him. They didn't enter the race when PSG were there. They did not enter the race when Liverpool were there. Liverpool had already offered 120 for Diamande to Leipzig. Leipzig was ready to accept, but Diamande said he was waiting for PSG. You remember this? At the beginning of the window, Liverpool was ready to pay. So the question is, they're bringing him in. He's young. He's going to be the next best like left winger that they want to have. They want to have two solid left wings. The Olise deal has been turned down already. Bayern has said no. Olise is not going anywhere. Olise's salary just got increased again by Bayern last week. So let's not even do the whole like Olise is not going anywhere. So my thing is, I think that
but that Real Madrid knock is a different knock, Dayo, bro.
I'm not saying it's not,
that, bro.
When
Real Madrid come knocking, it doesn't matter how much they give you in your present club.
My point is, Madrid went to Bayern with the 150, right? They said Olise is his Galactico. That's who he wants. He went there and he knocked the door. Here's 150, and Bayern said no. Different knock or not, Bayern said no, and then Bayern spoke to Olise and said, we want to keep you. Here's an increase in your wages. If Olise wanted to force an out, he would have said, I don't want to take an increase. I want to go to Madrid. And Olise could have asked for that, but he didn't. Guess what Olise did? He signed his new wage deal. Why? Because he wants to stay. Or if Olise is smart, maybe he wants an increase in wages. Then he'll say, I want to go to Real Madrid. Now, Real Madrid is forced to then pay this new wage structure,
this new wage bill.
That's not impossible. But my thing is like, yeah, this whole Madrid knock is a thing. I get it, but again, Madrid is Madrid. It's the way they do business that frustrates me. They're a very difficult club, and you can get deals done with them, but the way they like to do business, they like to milk every dime out.
Every single penny, bro.
and they're good. And they're good at it. They're good at it. You can't blame them for that. They're the biggest club in the world, and so of course they get the right to act that way. They've earned the right to act that way, to any club. But exactly. I like news like this, that Arsenal is going for players like that. That tells me where our mindset is at. That tells me where the club is looking at and what levels we're trying to achieve. But, again,
at least be in the conversation. The problem there is when you're not in the conversation for the biggest players in the world, because within our own rights, we're champions of England. We should flex those muscles. Why not go into the market, and be out there for the very best that's available in the market, even if they don't come in, but at least we have it on paper that, we sounded out the biggest of players, and it's either based on what they say, hey, I don't want to come to Arsenal, hey, I want to come to Arsenal, then we know what we're dealing with. But we are in the market for the biggest of players in the transfer window. I'm not saying that's enough, but again, you need to show this kind of thick skin in the market when you're, champion of England, bro. This is the kind of muscles you need to be flexing. Look at this question from the assembled. It says, do you personally think that Vini will sign for Arsenal? How much do you think Arsenal are willing to pay him? The wage structure. People, Dayo is also an account expert. Yeah, he can break these things down. Dayo, go deep down into the wage structure. What he's earning.
There's many
about 400. What do you think, bro?
There's many ways to pay wages. I think most times when people think about wages, you just think, it's a club that is just dipping their hand in their pocket and paying 400 every week. There's many ways to actually structure a wage for players, and many clubs do it. And I think when you have a player of Vini's stature, because I'll use Messi as an example. When Messi went to Inter Miami, his base guaranteed salary was 12 million a year, which could increase to 20 million. But what they did was they involved people like Adidas, people like Apple, and people like all these sponsors to actually do bonus deals on top of his wages, which brought his wage to what he's supposed to be earning. So, and then of course he had a revenue share with the club, which is a big thing because he's Messi. But we will not do a revenue share with Vini, but we can bring in sponsors. We have people like Deal now on the arm. We have Adidas, and we have all these other sponsors that are there. We can pull in a deal where they pay part of the wage structure as part of Vini's image rights. So any posters we do, any ads we do, anything we do that generates revenue, Vini also gets a split of that. So they are chipping into the wage structure for you, and they are using the marketing material of Vini. Vini's selling jerseys. We're doing TV, placements. We're doing, this is outside Vini's personal management team that can go and get him his own personal branding deal.
Branding deal, outside the whole wage structure thing.
It's outside the wage structure thing. So again, there's many ways to structure it. It's not necessarily that it's always the club alone that is paying these things. I know that for majority of players, yes, it's the club because they are not the biggest names. But when you get big names in and it's big wages, again, when you bring in a big name, you think Adidas is not happy to say, hey, let's do some big things with Vinny right now that he's at Arsenal and you are our jersey sponsor. Then we say, okay, you carry 4 million of the wages for this year. And then we say to Deal, you carry 2 million. So that's already 7 million. And if we then add our own base 12 million, that brings it to like 20 million, which is almost the 400 a week that he's supposed to be earning. So that means Arsenal is coming out of pocket with just maybe 60% of the wages. So yeah, there's many ways. I don't know if that's how they're going to do it, but I'm just saying there's many ways to structure a wage structure. It's not just, oh, what are we going to pay him? And if you're talking about, can we afford him? Yes, Arsenal can afford to pay for Vinny. The truth is, the market is the market now. People like Tonali are going for 100 million. Tottenham is coughing the money out. People are going for midfielders and they're paying 85 million. So my thing is, yes, we can afford him. Arsenal last season, I don't know if a lot of Arsenal fans know, but we turned over a profit for the first time, our largest profit. In fact, the head of our what's it called? The lady who was in charge of all our advertising and publicity and all that to actually generate funds just left.
She just left,
most successful season yet. So we did make a lot of money. Yes. Can we afford to pay that? Yes. Can we find a deal to, do a wage structure that we can use to pay, Vinny? Yes, we can. It's not impossible. And when people hear like, oh, Vinny is 150 million. Yes, he is 150 million to get Vinny. But the question then becomes, is Madrid asking us for 150 million up front, or are we amortizing over 3 years? And if we're going to amortize over 50 a year, 50 a year, 50, so 50 every season. It's the same way we brought in Mikel Merino, Nkapi on loan, and then paid the money the following season. So it doesn't read on our PSR from last season; it reads on the PSR for this season. So it's a smart move. There's many ways to do it where you still stay under PSR, and Madrid knows this. So Madrid is not going to be crazy and say, if we don't get the full money today, we're not doing a deal. No, they're happy to get that.
We're not doing a deal. Yeah, exactly. Mostly since they have other targets that they want to get, actually. So it is what it is. Big up to Miss Melina. She's down here. She finally caught us live. Miss Melina, you're welcome to my new show with my brother. Yeah, Dayo. He's down here. It's called Arsenal Unhinged. People, don't get it twisted. Yeah, during the season, me and this guy, we will be on each other's necks. Yeah, trying to murder each other. But I mean, right now with street swords, we're champions, so we can flex like champions right now until the season starts, and then we can start dissecting deep into what's really going on. But people, big up to Footy Charts. He's down here. Miss Melina is here. The Assembled is down here. Aces, a hater, Aces is down here with us. Big up to you, Aces, Footy Chart says this. He says, I personally don't know if we'll get Vinny, but to be in the conversation is a good sign. If we can get it done, be quick. This is the thing, Dayo, this is the thing I want to engage you in, This is the thing. Look at that last phrase, If we can get it done, be quick about it, because other teams will be lurking. And see, Dayo, man, I mean, come on, bro. You saw what happened. What happened with Morgan Rodgers' deal.
Let's do this. Let's hold
around. Hold on. Somehow Chelsea came, gazumped the deal. But we're back to where we are right now, square one. We've seen the deal with Maxence Lacroix. With Dilly Dally, we just showed interest. Finally, Chelsea is walking away with the bride.
Tony, wait, hold on.
No, we have Bruno Guimaraes, We've been talking about Bruno Guimaraes. We're dancing about the bush. Bro, Newcastle have said, this is how much, that is enough for us to get him. Go stomp up the cash and pay these people. And let's get our player in. We cannot the funny thing. To Arsenal and other clown clubs like Chelsea, Man United, and all these other clown clubs will come in and pick the bride. What are we doing here, Dayo, man?
I think you I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this very pointedly and clearly. You like playing devil's advocate for no reason. The Lacroix deal, we never even made any move. They were just
no devil's advocate.
Listen. Let me. No. Let me. I let you speak. I did not interrupt you when you were speaking. I let you speak. You said your piece. You said Morgan Rogers. You said Lacroix. You talked about Bruno Guimaraes. I let you speak, so let me speak. The Lacroix deal, they said there were names on the list. Kwanzaa and Lacroix are people that they are looking at because of Saliba's injury. After Saliba's medicals, we will know if he's going to need surgery or not. Then we will decide how long he's going to be out.
Saliba will be out for at least 3 months.
Let me finish.
Let's have some
If
fun.
you're not good, hey, are you a doctor? Did you check Saliba yourself? Did you check Saliba yourself? Or you're just reading stuff on Twitter? Because it's easy to go on Twitter and have one random person, because they have followers, say, oh, he's going to be out for 5 months. But the doctors are saying all he needs is physical therapy for the next few months, and then they can assess. And then we are saying, okay, even if we're going to get a replacement for him, we don't want to spend more than 30 million for a replacement that is Premier League proven, so that while he's getting recovery, he gets covered. We still have Mosquera that can cover in that position, but we still need somebody else. So the point is, let's not play this game where we always try to paint Arsenal like they're not doing anything. Now, with the Morgan Rogers deal, there is no way, right? Chelsea would have gone to 117 if Arsenal was not closer to the 100 million. If Arsenal was offering 70 million for Morgan Rogers, Chelsea would have come in and offered 90 and then gotten the deal done. If Arsenal was offering 85, Chelsea would have come in and offered 100. We were offering close to 100, and they came in and said 117 up front. Now, am I mad that I'll pay 117 for Morgan Rogers? Because if your take is that Arsenal was offering 75 for Morgan Rogers and Chelsea comes in and pays 117, Chelsea are maggots, because they've just paid 60 million over the price, literally. And that's not possible. So definitely we were closer to that margin, because according to everything that everybody said, even Aston Villa, we were at the 90 million mark with some add-ons that would get it to 100 million, but they wanted full-on upfront money. And Chelsea has taken the bait. Fair enough. Good on them. Now, the Bruno Guimaraes deal, the same thing. Yes, we need him.
But before you move into that Bruno Guimaraes one, yeah? Dayo, what I want to tell you right now is that, do you know that Chelsea didn't even pay more than 10 million pounds for Morgan Rogers, bro? Because Aston Villa is getting Garnacho, who, by the way, is a flop at Chelsea, and they were able to flog him up for 40 million pounds. Bro, don't forget this. No. And again, another player is also moving the other way. 2 players, bro. It totally offsets 100 million for them, bro. Tony, if we're going to do this show, maybe they're just only paying maybe this 10 million pounds, bro. So it's disingenuous when you say that Chelsea is paying this 117 million, bro. I don't want to get into the argument with you, but you open the can of worms. So let's dive into it.
If we're going to do this show, let's be honest and let's give factual things. Garnacho is going on loan for this season. They are not paying any money for Garnacho right now. So let's
we all know that that's not true. We all know that's not true. They're only circumventing the rules so that they're not going to get into FFP problems, bro.
Tony, one thing that I hate is for us to make assumptions. When we make assumptions, you make an ass out of you and me. When you assume, you make an ass out of you and of me, saying we all know. We don't know. What we know is what they're. Is he going on loan? Yes or no? Is it a loan deal? Is it a loan deal for Garnacho? Let me ask you.
How did that, bro? You just talked about how Arsenal structured their deal with
the question I'm asking you is, right, can you answer the question? Is Garnacho going on loan? Yes or no?
He's going on loan, but we all know what they're doing.
Listen again. We'll get all this. We all know. This is assumptions. I'm asking you direct questions with facts that are on the ground now. These are facts that are on the ground. He's going on loan. How much are they paying for the loan deal? How much are they paying for the loan deal?
Bro, I mean, you're the mathematician, bro. You know, I mean.
No, I'm asking you. Can Google it real quick.
Talk to us, bro. I mean, talk to us. I mean, Chelsea. Their valuation of Garnacho, it's 40 million. So whether they got him on loan or no loan, they're gonna pay 40 million at the end of the day. This is what's gonna happen.
Guess what? They have a loan with an option to buy, not an obligation to buy. Go read the deal. You know what an option to buy means? It means next season they can turn around and say, if he didn't perform, we don't want to buy him. So let's be honest about the facts. I've read the deals. I've looked at what is there. I'm not going to now make assumptions and say, oh, because Chelsea's valuation does not mean money has exchanged hands. It hasn't exchanged hands. Chelsea is allowing them to take the wages of Garnacho off their hand. Garnacho is going on loan with an option to buy, not an obligation to buy. The difference with Nkapie was we had an obligation to buy. there's languages that go into the contract that we must be honest about. If we're going to do this show, I want people to know the truth. I don't want to do assumptions of what I assume. Again, there is every chance that next season Garnacho does not become a full-time player of Aston Villa because he doesn't perform for them and they send him back to Chelsea. Chelsea just wants to free up space in that left so that Rodgers can play. But guess what? They had to fork out 117 upfront to Aston Villa, whether you like it or not. So that's the difference in when you're doing the mathematical calculation. Who is the beneficiary of this? Aston Villa. They are the ones who benefit the most. They get rid of a player a player at good price with money up front. They get another player to come in who they're only paying the wages, and they have the option next season to say we don't want him. So that's the deal that is on the table and the reality. So let's not make. I'm not going to say, well, we all know that they can try to circumvent. Yeah. So, but is that what it is right now? No. What it is right now is what I just said. That's the deal on the table. Now, if they turn around and circumvent next season, and you hear that, oh, they finally paid 40 million to Chelsea for Garnacho, that means that the Morgan Rogers deal was really a 60 million deal because they broke even. You gave 40 back. And fair enough. But for now, somebody has collected 100.
Nicholas Jackson is also going the to the opposite side too. So that's two players. That's selling. To Aston Villa. So. I mean, we can talk about this, but when you do the math, you can. I know, but it comes even, isn't it? Dayo,
I know.
Don't deny that.
Again.
Don't deny that.
Again. I'm not denying that they're not doing deals. What I'm saying is, right now, this season, these players are on loan and not permanent deals, so the money hasn't changed hands. So it's not even yet until the money changes hands. Nkapie's money was not paid to his club when we took him on loan. We just paid it this season. So we have said last season that Arsenal has given 45 million to Nkapie's club. No, we hadn't. We just paid it this season. Yes, the deal was going to get.
If you do business, and you have a check telling you to go to JP Morgan around February next year to cash your money. It doesn't really matter whether right now. But you can really anticipate that when you take that cash. When you want to cash that check at JP Morgan around there about February 2027, it's cash in the bank, bro.
My brother,
what are we doing here? You don't have to have the money. You don't have to have the money physically.
I don't do. Listen, I don't do.
If you have the check in your hand, telling you, Dayo, go to JP Morgan and get the cash February 2027, it's cash in the bank, bro.
That's not money in the bank. Stop. That's not money. That's not money in the bank. Can we stop doing that? There is the option to buy that says if he performs well, then you can cash the check. If he doesn't perform, you're not cashing any check. So there's still the option to buy the contract that you have chosen. You have chosen to neglect. You just want to harp on the fact that they valued him at this and he's on loan now, so guaranteed they're going to pay them that money. No, when Rashford went to Barcelona, there was the option to buy for 30 million if he performed. He performed, but Barcelona still turned around and said, nah, we changed our mind. We don't want him. Was that money guaranteed to United? No. Do you know what was guaranteed? Rashford's wages. So let's not do this. We've seen this happen many times. And I don't like to speculate. I like to go with what is written and what I can see. And eventually, if they do the deal next season, fair enough. They found a way to do a good deal, get the Morgan Rogers deal done, send 2 players over there, broke even. Businessmen, they did a good job. But as of now, what is the guarantee that any of these players are going to succeed? Did they not do the same thing with Jackson when he went to Bayern? Why is he back at Chelsea? Why are they looking for a new place? So what are we doing here? Was it guaranteed? No, it was an option to buy. The option did not come to fruition. He's back. So let's not do this that all of a sudden, because we want to banter other teams, we want to make Arsenal look like they're not doing anything. We're just going to talk and say, oh, well, these clubs have done very well. They haven't. The deals are not done. The deals are not done. Option to buy is very different. I don't do facts that are not facts. I do facts that are facts that I know that, okay, guarantee. Because if there was no option to buy in the deal, then I'll say, oh, these guys are smart. If it was obligation to buy, which means you are obliged, you must buy this player, I'll be like, Chelsea are the smartest club in the world. Because what they've done right now is just a smart move. You've given the 2 guys on loan for 1 season with obligation to buy, which means you are definitely getting that money. Then yes, I can speak now and say, yeah, you know what, that Morgan Rogers deal, they basically just paid this Aston Villa 30 million.
It's fair game. Dayo has explained it. I mean, people, right now, you don't have to doubt what Dayo said because it's pure fact. The contract is out there. I mean, there's no obligation to buy written a clause written in that on those contracts. Basically, it's based on the opinion of the team on if they should activate the clause to bring in the player. So I hear it, but it's good we have the conversations, yeah, because I mean, just looking at it with the physical eyes, if those two players are going to Aston Villa, and that's a player that they wanted, Morgan Rogers, is coming from Aston Villa, you would want to speculate and say, you know what, yeah, it's
speculation
good,
is
business.
good.
I mean,
you know the kind of
once you
speculation
look at
that
the
I like.
deal from the outside package, that's what I'm talking about. So
I know, but
now that you've given us facts to it, we can run with it. But again, it still doesn't mean that they can still not cash the check
I'm not saying that they can't.
So
I know, but
it is what it is.
You know the kind of speculation that I like. I like to first go and do my investigation, research it, so that when I speculate about what you're about to do, I am correct to the T. Like, listen, I see your loopholes. I see why you're doing this. I see why you chose 117 as the figure and why you're doing a 45 million deal with Garnacho and a 30-something million deal with this guy, because at the end of that comes to 70 minus. So you only paid 43 for Morgan Rogers. I want to be able to do that. But in doing that research, you find out that, hey, these are some things that they have in the contract. There's certain things that Garnacho must achieve for the option to buy to even be triggered.
To even be triggered, yeah.
Yeah, so even for it to be. So if he doesn't meet those obligations, they won't even be able to trigger that, like, even if they wanted him. Even if Villa didn't want him. So that's the point. There's so many little things. It's the same way with Eberechi Eze when he came from Crystal Palace to Arsenal. We had a 10 million bonus payment if he got us the Premier League. You know this, right?
And
we had to
pay,
I know, but we also had to then pay that 10 million because why? That was part of the contract. That was part of the deal. You know, there's all these obligations that are put into these deals that if these players don't reach them, certain things cannot happen. So that money, all Aston Villa is doing is paying Garnacho's wages this next season. That's all. They're basically saying we'll take up his wages, and if he works for us, then we'll then talk. But if he doesn't,
but again, that doesn't still. I mean, you've given us all this breakdown now, and I hear you. Yeah, I can compromise with that. But it still doesn't answer the question why we are dilly-dallying with this signing. If you want a signing, go into the market, identify them, and bring them quickly. It still doesn't answer that question. Why we can't close these deals on time?
We are not, because we're the club at the top and we're in no rush to actually just make a deal if the player does not meet the need that we want. We just need a few little tweaks here. We're not trying to rebuild anything. As again, when you've scored 99 out of 100,
our attack needs to rebuild.
Hold on, I'm coming. The left
attack needs rebuilding though.
Let's be very specific about it. The left wing of the attack needs rebuilding. The left wing, not the whole attack. The left wing of our attack, yes, needs a lot of rebuilding. And Arsenal has showed that they're working on the left wing. Trossard has gone out, they brought in somebody else on the left wing. The left wing that needs rebuilding is being worked on. The players that were linked to Vinicius Junior talking about that is a left wing player. That means we're trying to fix that attack. And the part that is working. So again, the club is doing what it needs to do. This idea that we must beat down the club and be negative and try and fight because rivals are talking nonsense. What is the rush? Like, if you have 99% out of 100, you know, getting that 1% is really harder than somebody who has 65% because they can get 20% extra and come to 80. And you'll be like, oh, look at them improving. When you want to close a 1% margin, you have to make sure it's perfect one. It has to be the right one. And you will pay whatever it costs at that time. And that's where we are as Arsenal. Why we still have the best defense. We still have a solid midfield. Right now, our attack was the only issue. And with the attack, as bad as it was last season, we were the second highest scoring team in the Premier League.
In the Premier League, yeah.
So again, with how bad the attack was, we were the second highest scoring team in the Premier League. And we know that all we need is more numbers in attack. Christian Solis, as an example, for 2 seasons back-to-back, has had 40 plus GA. Goals and assists, 2 seasons back-to-back in Club Brugge. If that guy gives me only 25% of that output, he's giving me 12 GA in his first season. That's almost as much as Martinelli and Trossard did put together last season.
Exactly.
So you see what I'm saying? Like, so,
yeah.
So my thing is, we're addressing the issues. We're looking at, we need more output. We need more assists. Somebody who's giving 23 assists a season. Somebody who created 158 chances for his club. last season alone. 150. If you are creating those chances for Gyökeres, I believe he'll score more because Gyökeres did 21 goals in his first season in all competitions.
In his first season.
And he didn't have
and that's just basically half of what he did in Sporting Lisbon the season before he came in.
And if we're to say the Sporting Lisbon league, if we're to say Portuguese league is lower than the Premier League, then that means that he's doing the right numbers because Premier League is harder. He's doing half of what he was doing in a weaker league. If he's doing 21 in Premier League and he's doing 42 or 48 in Portuguese league, that's the equivalent because you're coming from his harder league. So let's be realistic about it. Like a player like Solis who will come and give him more service to Gyökeres because his assist last season was like 20-something assists that he did.
Yeah.
That's 17 goals, 23 assists, something ridiculous.
But to be very fair, it's in the Belgian league, I mean, you will still come around the table, and talk about this.
Listen, to be fair, it's the Belgian league, but if he gives me 10 assists out of that 40-something assists that he did in 2 seasons, he's giving 10 good assists to Gyökeres. My point is, even if you are doing 40 in the weak league, you can come and do 15 in a stronger league. 15, you can forfeit 25%.
14. And
that
makes sense.
And that in itself, if this guy comes in and does 15 GA, right, that is Martinelli's ever best season for Arsenal, and that will be his best season it will be his first season.
In his first season.
So what are we doing? Like
that's true.
So my point is, we're addressing the issues, but Arsenal fans don't want to look at the facts. They just want to be able to go out there and brag and just be negative about the club. And I've said it. If the club is doing wrong, I'll call them out. But when I see you fixing things and I see you addressing issues,
things.
When you're fixing the issues that I know, because I look at my team and I see the issues. I'll tell you what the issues were last season. On the left wing, we were trying to play Martinelli. Martinelli is a striker that we converted to a left winger. That's the first thing Arsenal fans need to know. When we bought him from Brazil, he was a striker.
Is he really a striker, though, bro?
Again, look at all. No. I'm saying when he was playing in Brazil, he was a striker. When we brought him to Arsenal, we put him on the left wing. He was a striker in Brazil. So you can't say, is he really a striker? Yes, because that's what he was. We put him on the left wing.
That was the 5th league. That was the 4th league or the 4th category in Brazil, bro. With Ituana.
It didn't matter what the league was. What position was he playing is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about his position. He was playing striker, whether he's playing it in high school, in college, whether he's playing it in semi-pro league or Sunday football. You ref. Are you a referee? It doesn't matter on what league you're refereeing. Do you ref? Yes. Are you a referee? Yes.
Yes.
It's simple. Yes. That's all I'm talking about. I'm saying he was a striker. We converted him to a left winger. If you want to know how that he's a striker, look at all of Martinelli's real goals. He cuts inside. He's always in the middle, on his right foot, placing the ball that way. He has very few goals off the left itself, cutting the ball in, because that's not his way. He's used to like the goal against City, the goal against Liverpool. These are goals like in the Champions League. Go look at all his goals. Go back and watch it. Don't be biased. Just watch his movement and watch where he scores from. He scores those type of striker goals. So my thing is, again, if we get rid of him and we bring in Vinicius, fair enough. But I think that the issues that we had on the left are being addressed. And in the midfield, Bruno Guimaraes, from what I hear,
we'll talk. That's our next topic. We'll talk about that. We'll engage on that one. But let's just tie up the holes with this Vinny thing before we move. The assembled said something here. He says, "Do you think Vinny?" This is a very important one, actually. Very, very important one. Do you think Vinny could be a smoke screen like Rodrigo was last year and Noni arrived? To be very fair to the assembled, this is true. Arsenal, was going for Rodrigo. We remembered that last two windows we had. That Rodrigo talk was everywhere. So you cannot say, "Hey, this fan is negative. This fan is negative," because there was seriously real big connections to us and Rodrigo, and it never happened. Dayo,
do you know why it never happened? You see, this is what
deja vu all over again.
No, this is not deja vu. This is a fan just saying things because you're not looking at the fact. Do you know the reason why we never got Rodrigo? Rodrigo never wanted to leave Real Madrid. Rodrigo spoke to the public. He gave a press conference and said, "I want to stay in Madrid and fight for my place. I'm not leaving." So when a player says he doesn't want to leave, the club is not obliged to sell him to anybody. So let's not sit here and make it seem like Arsenal didn't make a move. We made a move for Rodrigo. Rodrigo said, "I don't want to go. I want to stay and fight for my place. And then he got injured. So let's not sit here and make it sound like, oh yeah, we didn't make a move. Again, it takes two people to make a deal happen. It takes the club and the player. Even for Vinny, if you offer 300 million to Madrid and Madrid says yes, and Vinny says I don't want to go, and he doesn't want to do a deal with you, he doesn't want to agree salary, he doesn't want to agree wages, he doesn't want to agree structure. What do you do? What do you do as a club? So let's stop putting all of this stuff on one side of the deal. Oh, Arsenal did not do. Is this smoke screen? It's not a smoke screen, because if you follow the facts were Rodrigo said he didn't want to come. So the fact was Arsenal wanted him. Arsenal made inquiries. Arsenal spoke to his camp. Arsenal spoke to Real Madrid, and Rodrigo made it clear, I don't want to leave. So don't bother making a bid for me, because I'm not going to accept your offer. I want to stay and fight for my place. Those were Rodrigo's words.
Okay.
So if the player doesn't
the assembled, are you clear on that? So in other words, Dayo, you were saying that Arsenal's pursuit of Rodrigo the last two windows, it was all fallacy. It's not really like a smoke screen. Arsenal went to Real Madrid and he said, hey, I don't want the transfer. Is that what you're saying? So that we can make that clear to assemble.
He made it clear. Go, just Google it. Rodrigo said, I don't want to leave. I don't even.
You heard that, right?
Yeah. Rodrigo said, I want to stay and fight for my place.
I agree with Dayo.
That's what he said.
I feel that Rodrigo never
when the player doesn't want to leave, there's not much you can do, right? The difference with other players is you hear players say things like, hey, I'll give you an example. We were looking at Noni Madueke, right? And we spoke to Chelsea, spoke to Noni, and Noni left the Club World Cup. That's a player that wanted to come and play for us. Whether he's good enough or not, I get it. I know you might want to start talking about his skill set. I'm talking about intent. The player was intent on playing for Arsenal, and he left the Club World Cup and showed up immediately. Rodrigo, on the other hand, said, hey, I want to stay in Madrid and fight for my place. His words, I quote him. I'm quoting him.
Yeah.
I want to stay and fight for my position.
You don't even need to. He said it.
Yeah. So again, we can't blame that on Arsenal. If you're
you can't blame that on Arsenal. If the player doesn't want to come, it doesn't want to come, and you don't want to be playing players that don't want to be in the football.
And then we can't call it a smoke screen, like Arsenal decided to deceive people with smoke screen and they went and got Noni. No, Arsenal went for Rodrigo. Rodrigo said no, and Arsenal needed somebody to cover there, so we went and got what we needed to get to move on. And did we not win the Premier League with Noni? We did. So what are we doing? What are you doing? What are we doing? Did you not win? Did you not get the Champions League final? Did Noni not score against Bayern?
The Champions League final.
Hold on. Did Noni not score against Bayern Munich, the almighty Bayern Munich that everybody said had the best attack? Yes. So what are we doing here? He may not be the class player that you want, but he's a profile that works when we need him to work, and that's all I care about. As long as my club is progressing and we're winning, you see all this labeling that they want to label us now. I'm here to debunk it. When the club is doing wrong, I'll be the first to call it out.
Exactly. See, people, before we enter into the other elephant in the room, which is the Alvarez Gyökeres swap deal that we're here. See, people, Arteta is moving mad. I mean, this man, wants to construct, the most lethal attack ever seen in Europe, bro. Man is talking about Vinicius Jr. Man is talking about bringing in Alvarez. People, just dream about this. I mean, just dream. Take a step back. Dream about this. Vinicius Jr. on the left-hand side. Alvarez just in behind Gyökeres, and then Saka on the right-hand side. People, I don't want to sound all squeaky and all, all giddy and all that, but people, just dream about that kind of attack, people. Before we get down there, let's read some of the comments, people, because on this show, we're going to take your comments real seriously. Miss Melina, the first lady of people. I'll be having ladies, women, Arsenal women, come down here and talk football. I'm in contact with some of my friends on TikTok, and they'll be coming in. So and probably I've not spoken to Miss Melina about it, but me and Miss Melina might have something to do with that. So when Miss Melina gives me her clearances, and then I would come out for sure and say, this is how I want to do the show with just Arsenal women. and then we can just be here and talk about football or whatever. So until I talk to Miss Melina and she gives me the go ahead for that one, and then I will give you the date where we can start with that one. And she says here, Vinny would be a great steal of a signing. We agree. Olajide Oluwa, who is also, this is my OG here, people here. Big ups to Olajide Oluwa, man. Big ups to you, my guy. Yeah. And he's a Real Madrid fan, you know, and he's hearing we Arsenal fans, me and Dayo, yeah, just, you know, fighting over Vinicius Jr. I mean, he has been calling us thirsty. I mean, see, Olajide Oluwa, man, see, bro, we need Vinicius Jr., bro. I mean, all these things you're talking about, all this mockery, yeah, you're doing on this page, bro. Bro, I'm not buying it. Provided you give us a Vinicius Jr., bro. Bro, I want Junior to come down to the Emirates, bro. Bro, either by hook or by crook. Arsenal, do it. And he says, good. Of course, Miss Melina says, hi, Amy Baba. Olajide says, great steal. And he says, it's just business. Of course. The assembly says, in reality, Vinny track back. Okay, pause, people. That's the one. That's the one that has caused problems now. Yeah. I mean, look at this statement. Yeah. Dayo, this will cut deep into Mikel Arteta's tactics. Yeah. We are. Let's be frank, because I know you will fight this with all your energy. People have seen Dayo fight before. Yeah, people. He will fight this off with all his energy. But see, Dayo, I want you to calm down and listen to this. Yeah, listen to this scheme. We have seen Mikel Arteta's tactics, yeah, kind of like set Gyökeres aback just a little bit. So he can't really achieve his true potential in terms of scoring this amount of goals he scored all these years in Europe, in Lisbon. It's the defensive approach when you have someone like him of his ilk playing in that number 9 position. He often has to track back to help up the team and do some other stuff, at the back just a little bit, so he can't really just be at the front of the pile ready to score those goals. Yeah, defensively it has put him in trouble. Look at this comment from the assembled. In reality, Vinny track back. Do you think Arteta, if Vinny comes down to the Arsenal, do you think he would say, you know what, yeah, Vinny, you're not bigger than anyone in this team, you have to track back and help defensively?
So let's start by saying this whole myth that Arsenal plays a certain way, Mikel Arteta is hindering Gyökeres. You just said it yourself. Portuguese league is low. He scored 40-something goals in Portuguese league. He scored 20-something goals in the Premier League. That's the equivalent of what he's able to score in the Premier League. So he wasn't held back. That's to debunk the Gyökeres being held back story. Gyökeres is not coming to score 40 goals in the Premier League. Everybody should get that out of their head. Even Erling Haaland, who is the most prolific goal scorer of our time, has not been able to do 35 or 36, 39, 40, So let's stop it. In the Premier League, it is hard to score that amount of goals. So when he's scoring 21 in all competitions in the Premier League, kudos to Victor Gyökeres, kudos to Mikel Arteta. That's what's expected of you, because that's your... In fact, Gyökeres is the only other Arsenal player to score 20-plus goals in his first season outside Alexis Sanchez for us.
True.
Aubameyang did not do it.
True.
Olivier Giroud did not do it.
True.
Lacazette did not do it.
True.
Gabriel Jesus did not do it.
True. Fact.
I can go down the line of strikers that we've had. None of them did it. So let's stop these lies that Mikel Arteta is holding the player back. It's bullshit. Let's stop it. That's number one. Number two, the idea that, we play defensive and all the players have to track back. Yes, we did that last season. Why did we do that last season? 21-22 season, Arsenal played free-flowing football, free attacking football. We did not get anything out of it. We didn't win the league. We were short. We were 8 points ahead. We dropped all those points when we had injuries in our defense and midfield. And Mikel Arteta spotted something. Defensive midfielders, our defense and our midfield, if it breaks, the whole team breaks. Right?
Yeah.
He goes on to make us more solidly defensive, and players learned how to... Arsenal became a team that learned how to defend properly. Right? He wanted to get it over the line. Now that he's gotten it over the line, the players that he's looking at now are players that take on people. Mm-hmm. That means Arsenal can go back to now playing the free-flowing football in front, because we now know that we sorted out our midfield, Declan Rice, our 4 defenders, our goalkeeper. We know that is now a solid unit. Everybody has worked together to build that unit so that now you can free the front, which is why we're looking at which is why we brought in a Gyökeres, a high-scoring volume striker last season. Bring in the right wingers that will feed him this season, and that changes everything. So the idea that we might need Vinny to track back, or we might need Saka to track back next season, might not even be a thing, because right now you've been able to build a team that understands themselves, and then you're bringing in a moments player like Vinny, who you know that all he needs is one moment to put the ball behind
one moment, one touch. Changes the game.
And once he does that, you know that we are solid enough to defend a 1-0 lead, a 2-0 lead. You know this as Arsenal. So there's no point in asking him to do all that work. We want to start painting this picture that, will Vinny track back, so that we can start accusing Arteta next season if Vinny doesn't track back in 3 or 4 games throughout the entire season. That's what this is all about. For me, it's very, very clear that the team is changing the direction in which they want to play because of the kind of players that they're looking at. Those players are not players. These are moments players. That's something that Arsenal did not have last season. We had a solid team. We didn't have a moments player. And now we're looking at bringing in an exact moments player that may not even need to do all that heavy lifting of defending anymore. Because again, as a unit, we already know how to defend.
Yeah.
The only time our attackers were tracking back was when we sat back and allowed the other teams to attack us. Let's be honest. Saka wasn't tracking back. Noni wasn't tracking back as much last season because we always had the ball.
We always had the ball. Yeah, we always in possession of the ball.
And off the ball, we played 4-4-2. So what is this track back story that people are talking about? It's just so that they can write a narrative. That's the whole idea. And it's frustrating for me as an Arsenal fan because I'm like, you don't have to make up things about your club. Yes, there were times where we had to sit back and track back, but that happens in bouts in the game. You can't play 90 minutes and be the only person attacking. There's going to be a 5, 10, 15 minutes that you will be attacked. And of course, at that point, I expect Vinny to track back at that point. Every player tracks back at that point. Unless if we're saying that Vinny is going to be our transition outlet. So he'll be one of the two. So when we defend and we play 4-4-2, it'll be Vinny and Gyökeres because they both can be our transition outlet. And in another time, if the ball is on the right, it will be Saka and Gyökeres who will be our transition outlet, who will play the 4-4-2. You know, so so that's the thing for me. Again, I'm not trying to say that we don't play defensive football. No, we're a team that knows how to defend. That's how I look at Arsenal. Because again, the fallacy that we did not score, we scored the second highest goals last season. City with
Man City.
Listen, City with all their attacking prowess and signing this guy in January, Semenyo and everybody, and having Haaland and everybody, they scored 7 more goals than us. 7 more. They didn't score 15, 20 goals more than Arsenal.
Yeah,
and so we say Arsenal's attack was so poor last season. City's attack was so good. They scored 7 goals. So we were in the poor stage. They are in the good stage. And all they could do was score 7 more goals. So what happens when we come to a good stage and not even the same level with them?
Not even the same. And we still won the Premier League. Don't forget that.
So that's my point. So my point is like, I hate the criticism when it comes to talking about, because again, they but our attackers are not scoring enough goals. Dude, we had an attacker that scored 21 goals. We've not had one like that since the days of Alexis Sanchez. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like what are we doing? Like, are we genuinely
pure fact?
Are we genuinely that hateful of our club, or they've bantered us so much that we now have PTSD that we must say
we now believe it.
That we must say something negative when we are seeing the facts in front of you. For example, all the noise that people made about the signings from last summer, when Arsenal reached the 100-mark goal in all competitions last season, when we reached when we scored, I think Bayern was the first team to reach a 100-mark goal in all of Europe. Then I think Madrid, then us, or something like that. But when we reached a 100-mark goal, do you realize that 50% of those goals were scored by the new signings? Check it.
True. That's true. Zubimendi, Gyökeres, and all of that.
That's 50% of our 100-mark goals. That's 50 of our goals were scored by those new signings. There were times listen to this. Liverpool will give you an excuse last season. Oh, they're trying to blend. The team brought in too many players. There are too many new players that we brought in. Do you know that there was a time where Arsenal played a game, in fact, multiple games in the Premier League last season with 6 new players on the pitch? We had Mosquera and Nkapie in defense. You had Zubimendi playing. You had Eze playing. You had Noni playing, and you had Gyökeres playing.
Yeah.
In the same game. And nobody
completely
ever,
new players.
and in that game we drew that game. And guess what? Everybody said, Arsenal messed up. Oh, this is such a horrible. These people, look at them. Hey. Nobody gave the excuse and said, oh, you know what? Do you realize they're playing 6 out of their 11? 6 of them are new players that are still trying to fit into the team.
Fit into the squad and all that.
But when it's Liverpool only had 3 or 4 players that they were fitting in, and Liverpool are going.
And then the excuse fits in.
Liverpool are going through a transition. City are going through a transition. That's why they brought Semenyo and Gay. Arsenal are playing 6 players.
But Arsenal is not going through any transition. With
6 new players on the pitch. Give me a break. And then Arsenal fans will lap it up and say, yeah, it's true. This Arsenal team, and I'm just like, are you? Don't you see? Like, are you not able to? Don't you see the team lineup? Like, when I saw that lineup, I said to myself, this is going to be a tough game for us because we have 6 new players that are trying to blend. Kudos to Mikel Arteta for figuring out how to use all those bloody players. Kudos. It's either the man is a genius or those players are the best players in the world. And I know most of you don't rate Arsenal players.
I mean, you have to be a genius to win the Premier League. People, that's where I'm at. Yeah, I wanted Arteta out. I don't want him out again. I think he's a genius. If you're winning me the Premier League, you're a genius, bro. You're a genius. So it's all good. Olajide Oluwa says, real talk on Vinny tracking back at Dayo. Yeah, of course. Vinny,
I'm going to be honest with you. Vinny will need to track back, and I'll tell you why. In certain situations, he will need to track back. Every player tracks back when the need is there. But when you build a team around your defense and your defense is solid enough, it's almost like Messi. Messi has always been that player that doesn't run a lot. Messi just stands and swivels, and when he gets the ball, he already knows what he wants to do. Vinny is the kind of player that is dangerous on the transition. So if we play a mid block and we can free him up, he can go do what he needs to do best. And if it is Solis that is playing because Vinny is probably resting for a Champions League game or whatever, Solis is his high level of assist will come into play, which will allow people like Gyökeres to thrive, people like Kai Havertz to thrive, putting the ball at their feet in front of the box. So I think that
Martinelli, mind you, Martinelli is still not going. So
he's still not gone. Yeah. I just think that this idea that so if Vinny is not going to track back, we shouldn't get Vinny. Like what are we doing? Like it's tracking back is not the biggest problem. It's not. It's tracking back has never been our issue. We've had players that did not track back in the Arsenal team last season.
To be sincere, it has been a problem with Bukayo Saka in terms of his injury downturn, because most of the time he had to track back 2 seasons ago. He had to track back, trying to just fortify our defense in a way, and he had to also make those runs attacking wise. And again, we've seen the injuries that has happened to Bukayo Saka. Over the years, we've seen Martinelli track back and help out defensively when our left-hand side was really leaking at the time before Nkape came down. It also affected his output going forward. So we cannot deny that tracking back actually affected our game or had an effect on our game. We can't.
My point is, it's not the biggest issue that Arsenal has. That's why I don't really care about it. The main issues that we have, you see, now we're looking at 20 things, and then people are going to the bottom of the list to find that least thing that to just disqualify the Vinny deal. Oh, well, Vinny will not track back, but Vinny will give you moments. Vinny will score you goals. Vinny will give you assists. Vinny is a big name. Vinny will bring in more money for the club.
He would hold on to the ball. He would score goals.
Vinny will literally up level our attack. So for all of that, you see, let me go down. Let's track back. Let's look at track back and use that. Nah, please just throw that out the window. That's something that a player would eventually pick. Like, he's going to pick up when he and his teammates are playing, and he's like, I'm the only guy. You know what, guys? I'm working for the team too. That's something that tracking back is not something that is. It's when you play for a team that doesn't. Madrid do not track back generally. Madrid attackers, So
they're always on the ball. They're always on the ball. They always.
So this was not a Vinny, that was not a Vinny thing. That was a Madrid style of play where they leave their attackers up front, and then they trust their defense to be able to send the ball back, and that's how they've always played. But when you go to another team, as a professional footballer, what do? You do your job. And I believe Vinny, the professional, he'll come in, do what he does in attacking mode, and when we are being attacked, I expect him to do the business too. So I don't.
But
Yeah, I
then,
don't.
but then when you play other technically gifted players that also technically gifted football clubs that like to retain the ball also, so you're going to be sharing in that percentage of ball possession. Teams like PSG that like keeping and holding on to the ball also, you're going to share that chunk of ball possession with a team like Arsenal, maybe on even basis, maybe not even because they have more runners, more passers, more keepers, more gatekeepers of the ball in the midfield. So in those cases, do you think Vini can be able to, track back and help up the team collectively?
Let me put it
I
this
think
way. In
maybe
those,
that's within the lines
let me
of what they're talking about.
put
When
it. Let me
shit
put it this
hit
way.
the fan, when shit hits the fan, will Vini coordinate himself
So
against other teams that like holding on to the ball too?
so if let's paint the picture. Another team has the ball. Where do you expect Vinny to be? He'll be on our own side. He's
Yeah.
already tracked back. He's going to be on this side, trying to collect the ball to attack them, right? He's not going to go and be standing with their goalkeeper. He's not dumb. He's not going to be offside.
I
Right?
hear you, but on sustained basis.
So listen.
On
So
sustained basis.
on sustained basis, where do you think he'll be? He'll be in front of the ball. He will always want to try and get the ball. So he's always going to be on the defensive, regardless of what you want to say. There's no way he's the one standing with the goalkeeper offside, hoping that somebody gets the ball and plays him like he's already off. The point is, if another team has the ball, Vinny will be on the side defending. Now, the question is, when we get possession, is Vinny the kind of player who is good enough to get us out of that mid block and attack their goal and score? Yes, that's why you have him.
Yes, it's that kind of player.
So what you need is to play to his strength, and then you play to your and other players play to their strength. The Declan Rices and co, the Odegaards go and press, get the ball, and release Vinny to go and do what he needs to do. This track back issue that people want to make up now is just annoying because it's the least of the issues that we will face. I guarantee you, it is the least of the issues that Arsenal will face when it comes to, because we have players like Declan in front of the defense who can screen the ball. If you have a Bruno Guimaraes and a Declan Rice, before they get past those two to even get to the defense, and they can get the ball and spin the ball out to a Vinny, you know how dangerous we will be in transition. So this idea that teams are really
counter-attacks.
This idea that teams are really going to press us and we're going to be the ones playing low block. There are very few teams that can press us. In fact, we faced the most low blocks last season, which means we did majority of the attacking last season, which means that our players did not have to track back as much last season. So let's stop this track back Mikel Arteta lie. Arsenal did not play tracking back football last season as much as they did a couple of seasons ago when they were learning how to do it. Last season, we faced the most low blocks. We scored the second amount of goals. We had the most touches in the opposition box. That tells you that we were the ones pressing. We won the most corner kicks and scored the most corner kicks, which means we were attacking. All these metrics show that Arsenal was on the front foot, which means if Vinny comes, he doesn't need to do any much of tracking back except every now and then. Maybe in 1 or 2 games. If we play PSG that can hold the ball against us. Even Bayern, that was an attacking team, did not have more ball possession than us when we played in the Champions League. We held them to a higher ball possession and attacked them even more. We had more shots on goal, more shots on target, more touches in their box. So what are people saying and people doing? This tracking back thing is a non-issue. It's a non-issue, honestly speaking.
Non-issue, says our big brother Dayo of the Arsenal Edge, people. Make sure you subscribe to the Arsenal Edge, people. Yeah, I mean, it does lots of editing, stuff. Arsenal, highlight and all that good stuff. Go to that channel, the Arsenal Edge, and just go show Dayo, our brother, some love down there on the channel. But just before people will soon go. But there's one topic we still have to talk. But again, the assembled has a question. I mean, see, Dayo, when you're here, you better get prepared. The assembled, this guy has been supporting Arsenal, since the 70s. So he knows what he's talking about, at the same time. So it's an old head, who is, he loves this channel and he shows up for this channel. So you better get ready. He's going to be asking you questions all through this season. So you better get ready for that. And he's asking one here. He says, question from a fan: with all your facts, figures, from your vast knowledge, will Arsenal retain the title? Yes, he already knows Dayo. He knows that Dayo would run around. He knows that Dayo would take him for a spin. So man has just said, okay, let's just say yes or no. Yeah? Will Arsenal retain the title? Yes or no will suffice. Thank you. People, it doesn't get better than
So,
this, bro.
so my answer to your question is I don't know because I don't predict the future. You're asking me to predict the future, which is a dumb question in the first place. You should be asking me what team do I think will have the biggest and best opportunity to win the Premier League next season, and I think it's Arsenal because they're still the most stable and the most consistent club. Every other top club, as good as they are, all have new managers and new players coming in that they need to blend. Xabi Alonso at Chelsea, he's building a new squad. Maresca at City, a new manager. Areola at Liverpool, a new manager. The De Zerbi in Tottenham, a new manager. Carrick is going to be his first season as United's proper manager because he took over, halfway through the season last year. So again, which club do I think has the best chance of retaining or winning the league this season again? I think it's Arsenal. But can I predict that they're going to win it? No, that's a silly question to say, oh, with all your knowledge. Like, can you predict? I don't go to the future. I'm not a witch. I don't fly. I don't fly back to the future or, to go figure out what's going on.
was trying to be cheeky down there, bro.
Yeah, you're trying to be cheeky with your question.
Don't take it hard, bro.
I'm being over. Again, I'm playing with it. I'm going to go with the cheek. If you want, I'm not taking it hard. You know me, this is how I speak. My thing is, if you want to be realistic about questions, then be realistic about them. But don't play the let me try and get you to say yes to something that is
yes or no. So it's gonna get you. So it's gonna look at you and say, gotcha.
Arsenal don't play to a system that includes tracking back. Every football club tracks back. So this is a lie. Again, Arsenal played the most touches.
That's facts, though.
No.
You have to accept it. Every team, whether in the Premier League, whether in Europe, there must be some few occasions where your players will have to track back, though.
Every team tracks back.
I can pull up. Listen, I can pull up. Dayo. You guys know. I like to antagonize Dayo. You guys know me, yeah. But I mean, with this one, yeah, it's clear. If teams want to succeed, there will be times where you would have to track back. So and it's done as a collective at Arsenal, which I think is the best way to actually shoulder all that pressure coming up from these bigger teams that wants to have a large share of the chunk of the ball possession. When you're playing against a team like PSG, that that they have runners, they have mobile players more better than our own midfield that will want to, hold on to the ball, and guard the ball with their lives. So it would be crazy not to tell one or two of your, of your forward players to help in tracking back and shoring up the midfield, and making sure that
one of the important things. Let me say this.
I've been shored up. To be
Tony. Let me say this real quick.
Yeah.
When you have a player like Vinny, then you tweak your team a little, even if you don't want him to track back. You know why? Because he's that player who, from the halfway line, the ball at his feet, he's most likely going to go and score a goal. So what you want to do is he will be the man who will be the guy who will be the least to always be in front. He doesn't have to be the guy that tracks all the way to the defense in the 18-yard box and then starts running with the ball, because you now have a player that can be that moments player that has what it takes. A good example, right, is when we were defending against Everton, right, and Martinelli got the ball. Who was already running? Max Dalman who supposedly our right winger, was the kid who was up front the most. And that's how he got the ball, headed it down, past the first player, and then started moving. That's where you want Vinny to be. Whenever we're defending, he's going to be in and around that, the 4-4-2 position. He's going to be one of the second players. So yes, he will track back in certain games. But because Arsenal does not really, we didn't really track back last season. People are making this thing up. We played the most low blocks, which means we were attacking the most. We had the most touches in opposition box, which meant that we were attacking. We had the most corners. So where is this tracking back? There's no data that shows that Arsenal spent half of their season in their own box, running back.
In their own box.
In fact, all the stats show that we were literally up front. We scored We scored the second most goals. Played the most corner kicks. Second most corner kicks. You know what that means? We were attacking and they were defending. So where was the tracking back? Because they were committing the corners.
Back.
So where was this tracking back? What is this? It's such a myth. It's such a myth.
I mean, it is what it is. It is what. No. But again, yeah. I mean, we cannot just say, "Hey, don't ask this question." Yeah. I mean,
no.
Those are legitimate questions.
They are legitimate. But
those are legitimate questions. Will Mikel Arteta turn around and turn his attacking players that he just brought in that if we do get the Alvarez deal, over the line and get the Vinicius Junior deal over the line, will he tell these guys to start defending? That's a logical question to ask.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying. I'm not saying it's not. No, listen. I'm not saying
pains or anything.
Let me tell you what. Listen, I'm not saying it's not.
We have seen Gyökeres defend.
I am not saying it's not a logical question.
Defend. We have seen Martinelli defend. For God's sake, we've seen different play at right back. So have you seen Haaland?
Hold on. Have you seen Haaland defend?
Let's don't pretend that those questions will come up.
I genuinely.
No, Dayo,
I genuinely hate this.
No, Dayo, I genuinely you don't want to see the other side.
No. I genuinely hate this. You know why?
Because
you know why I genuinely hate it?
Even if I have my own beliefs, I also want
it's not about belief.
Leave that room for other people's opinions to shine through. It's a legitimate thought. When you're thinking and you say, you know what, if I get against all these guys, would he tell them to defend? That's a logical question, though.
Oh my days. Which manager will not tell?
Let me
answer the question. You say it's illogical. Which manager will not tell their players to defend when they're being attacked? Tell me one manager that will tell their players, attacker, midfielder, defenders, don't defend. I want you to stay in the front. Don't we see Haaland tracking back to defend for City? Don't we see Semenyo doing it? Don't we see Liverpool? So other teams do it. Everybody. I just pulled up a compilation now of Vinny's defensive thing from last season. What he did defensively. He's tracking back here and defending for Real Madrid in games. So what are we doing? Every team does it. So let's stop this nonsense. Will Mikel Arteta turn his players in the attackers and say they should not? Will he tell them to make them become defensive? No. As a team, as a unit, you must know that when you are the one getting attacked, you go back and you help. That's not a hard thing for a manager to say to a player.
But I would like to counter that statement. At first, I didn't want to go at you with that because I didn't feel that was so important. But right now, you've tweaked my memory, back into last season. And you know what, there were times where we would go 2-0 up, 1-0 up, and then we find ourselves defending extremely extremely defending.
That's football.
And those teams would actually come back with maybe a 2-2 or a 1-1 draw game or something like that.
How many times did that happen?
We now found that we are defending from a position of strength. So it's a logical question
listen,
where some Arsenal fans would definitely ask some certain questions. Hey, why are we defending when we're 2-0 up? Why are we defending when we're 1-0 up?
Because
that's a logical question. That's what I'm saying.
Because in football, the other team now feels like we are down. They will pick up pace. When the team is, you think that, so if I'm playing football
then
now,
how about not allowing them to pick up pace?
Hold on. It's very difficult for you to say, don't allow, because they are the desperate ones. They are the desperate ones. And desperate dogs bite. Let's not sit here and expect that for 90 minutes, Arsenal will press every team for 90 minutes. And that thing that you just said right now, I'm going to say it to you again. It happened twice out of 38 games last season. Twice is the only time that it happened last season. So let's not take 2 times that something happened out of 38 games and make that the norm, and then base the question on that and make it seem like Arsenal for 36 games we're always sitting back after scoring. That is not true. We were not sitting back and after scoring all the time. And again, it is the easiest time to concede a goal after you score a goal. You know this as a referee, that in the next 5 to 10 minutes after you score a goal is the window where you could easily concede another goal after you score, because the other team comes with pressure. And for those 5-10 minutes, you have to soak that pressure. Who was the best team defensively last season? Arsenal. Why? Because we knew when to soak pressure and we knew when to go forward. This idea that you can kill off games, you can just run and... Dude, teams have gotten so strong that when Manchester City needed to up the ante in their defense, they went to Crystal Palace and got McGahey. Do you know what that means in the Premier League? That tells you how the level of defenders in the Premier League. Bournemouth, their defender was taken by Real Madrid. That's how good the defense has become in the Premier League. So to sit here and say kill off games, go in there, you're 2-0 up. How many teams last season? How many games last season were four goals?
No, Dayo. See, I'm not trying to sensationalize this thing here, but I mean, the fresh one that we know. Big up to AFC always. It just sent us some drills. People, how about sending us some drills? How about that? Yeah. Big up to AFC always. Just sent us 2 drills, Pacos. Big up to you. See, Dayo, let's not act as if we're not seeing these things. In the Champions League final, Arsenal was playing quite well in the first 10, 15 minutes. And then we went on to score a goal. And then we just sat back and allowed PSG to stay on the ball. You know, they have fast runners, they had fast trackers, and they held on to the ball. You know, I can't say that they're desperate. No, they are a team that keeps possession of the ball.
Let me ask you a
and
question.
we just surrender the ball to them. And then we trapped back.
This language that you're using is very...
That's what happened. So if someone is asking the question, why are we not piling the pressure?
I don't agree.
Why are we not piling the pressure when we're playing from?
Because we don't play from. Because we don't play.
Question.
Because everything.
And I've just given you an example of the Champions League final.
Your example is wrong.
And instead of piling on the pressure, we sat back, soaked up lots of pressure. And when you soak up pressure from a pressure team, from a possession-based team like PSG, you are gonna be hurt. Dayo, that is a legitimate question. Yeah. So when we get this better player we're talking about, will Mikel Arteta say, "Oh, okay, good, we're 2-0 off. Let's just sit back and defend"? We've seen it happen, Dayo. Let's not lie. We've seen it happen, bro.
Let's reanalyze that PSG game again, and I hate people rewriting history. If PSG did not get a penalty, PSG have the best attack in the world right now. Yes or no? Yes or no? PSG have the best attack in the world. Yes or no?
I don't know about that.
They have one of the best attack in Europe. Yes or no? They have one of the best attack in Europe. In fact, let me give you a stat. PSG scored the most goals on the way to the final in the Champions League. They scored 44 goals. Do you know the only team that PSG did not score? Do you know the only team that PSG did not score an open goal against? Arsenal. They scored a penalty. If not for Mosquera's mistake, PSG did not score an open goal against us. They have the best attack. They scored 44 goals on the way to the final. Arsenal scored 23 goals on the way to the final, conceded 6. PSG conceded 22 goals on the way to the final. Half of what they scored. So when you want to explain the way the football happened on the pitch with PSG and Arsenal, Arsenal was on track to just win that game 1-0 because that's how Arsenal plays. Every team cannot play pressure football, high press, continue to try and kill off the game. Some teams play the 1-0 game and they trust that they're good defensively and they can see out a game. Again, for Arsenal fans that are new and only joined Arsenal when Wenger became Arsenal's coach and started saying Arsenal play good football, Arsenal was called boring Arsenal. 1-0 to the Arsenal. This was what was the DNA of the club. Score a goal, sit back, and frustrate the other team. And we're good at it. We did it all last season. We did it in the Champions League. We almost did it in the final, if not for a young defender's mistake. And I understand he's 21, he'll make those mistakes, and it had to happen to someone like him. If we had all our players and he wasn't the one playing right back and he was Timber, I don't see them getting that penalty. And if they don't get that penalty, they don't win that. They don't win. And again, not only did they beat us on penalties, the fact that we lost two of our players missed their penalty. So they didn't even give their keeper the chance to try to save it or give us a better chance. So for me, I was proud of the way we played. So I hate this narrative. Football is played in different ways by different teams and different clubs. And the way Arsenal plays is we know solidly that we can score a goal or two from different means. And we know that we can shut off the game. You can see it in the eyes of the players and in the things that they say. When they showed Arsenal players watching the final game that City was playing, and Saliba was shouting 4-4-2, boys, 3 more minutes, 4-4-2, boys. There is a reason. Football has become methodical. This idea that you think, you can just go kill off a team, like the other team is not good enough, like they came there to sell ice cream. All right, make yourself vulnerable, attack them, and then lose the ball, and then let them hit you on the counter. Every time we did that last season, when we tried to kill off a game, what happened to us? What happened?
We had setbacks.
Exactly. So why is it that now, when we now do what we're good at as a team, because that's the football that we are good at, why do Arsenal fans want us to change what our strength is? It's like you telling Floyd Mayweather, who likes to defend when he's boxing with his shoulder, to not defend with his shoulder. It made him the greatest. It's that simple. If your style is yielding the results, who the hell are you to come and complain? I mean, the question you're asking is not even, how do you make the Arsenal system better? It's, why isn't Arsenal doing the opposite of what they need to be doing, even though what they're doing is working? Like, that's why I don't answer those questions. That's why I don't think those questions are legitimate. To me, if you want to ask questions that are legitimate about Arsenal, I will be asking you about PSG. How can PSG become a better attacking team? They have one of the best. What can they add to become this? What can Arsenal add to make our attack more fluid? Because that's the only issue that we have. Midfield defensively was solid. How do we get our attack in transition to be more fluid and move the ball quicker? That's what Arsenal needs. Because again, all stats show that last season we did majority of the attacking. Go look at it. We were standing alone in the charts. We faced the most low blocks than any other team. We were standing alone. We had the second most corners, scored the most corners. Where do corners come from? It comes from when you're attacking a team. So what are we doing here? What are we doing here? This idea that
big up to Just True Gunner, people. Just True Gunner, that's my broski. People, Champions League night will be back, and I would see if Just True Gunner would, kind of like renew the contract, but this time man has to show me the money. He has to show me the money. Big up to Just True Gunner, that's my brother. He says yes, PSG definitely has the best attack. Big up to you, my guy. And of course, the assembly says, so what do you think is your solution to make Arsenal better? Okay, now you're coming around.
My solution to make Arsenal better is attackers that are better in transition. Vinny is one of the best transition attackers that you have here in the world, and that's what you need. That's all we need. We need some more fluid, because we couldn't depend on Saka alone because of his injury. Noni is a 1v1 person. He's not really a transition player like that. He likes to be able to receive the ball on to foot while he's already in the opposition half. We need a player that can take it from the center circle and drive out the defense. 1v1, Vinny is a demon. On goal, he's very clinical. So you need a transition player like that. Solis is a player like that, which I like. I like the fact that we have a player that can drive and run with the ball and is very, very decisive in the final third. That's what we need to change. I also think that Gyökeres will get a lot more service this season, because again, if you bring a player like Solis that has high assist rates, if he can give me just 10 or 12 of that assist, I'll be happy with it, And so, in fact, you know what? This statement here proves what I'm saying.
France had the best firepower in the world. If you play as a team of all 11, it works. If you played as individuals, doesn't work out. Spain and France proved it.
Yes, Spain is Arsenal. Spain is Arsenal in this World Cup, and PSG were France in this World Cup. As regards to like the Champions League, the way Spain played, they conceded 1 goal on the way to the final in the World Cup.
Spain, do you think that the transition problem is players or the system?
I think it's players. I think part of it is players, because again, on the right-hand side, we played majority. 43% of our attack went through the right last season. And of that 43%, we scored majority of our goals through that side, which means our left-hand side, it's not the system, it's the players, because the players on the right were functioning. So again, I think that,
you were saying something. Don't be distracted by Olajide.
No. I was just saying. I was saying like this. So I think it's a player thing, because again, we looked at players like, for example, like I'm not saying he's a bad player, but like I said, Martinelli, we converted him from a striker where he was to a left winger. We're trying to make him hold the width really wide. It wasn't working. Trossard is not as fast, but very clinical. And Trossard is more of an inside forward. He's not really a wide. So on that left, we struggled. And then of course, when we didn't have Calafiori, who could do all the overlapping and allow them to actually cut in so that they could get better chances to score, we had to deal with Nkapie, who was very strong defensively, but not the best at crossing the ball in. We're not able to function on the left hand side. So I think it was a player profile thing. Not that the players are not good enough, they just couldn't hack the way we needed to play in that system. And so, I believe strongly that, with the right player profile, you're able to, because the system is very simple. Arsenal, when they are being attacked, are the best team defensively. We now have players that can carry the ball like Declan, run the ball through. If we bring in the Bruno G and Bruno can connect with the Vinny on the left, what do you think will happen? That's my question. Like if you then have Declan running and crashing think about it. You have Saka on the right, Vinny on the left, Gyökeres down the middle. You have Bruno G and Declan crashing the box. Then you have a Calafiori that just plays like a madman and just appears everywhere and anywhere. We don't even know, And if you need to rest players, you have players like Mikel Merino that you can bring in that is just just a super sub random 9 guy. You know, you have Zubimendi that can come in. And I tell people this. I know Zubimendi is one of the points that people were pointing at last season, but they forget that Zubimendi
Yeah. I wanted to move to that topic, but the chat wouldn't allow us to get into the midfield topic.
I'll just say this. I'll say this fact real quick. Zubimendi broke the record for Arsenal for most games played in the season by a player last season. He played 57 games. The record was 55 games in 1978. Zubimendi became the first player to break it. That is a lot of fatigue. So when that guy was tired at the end of the season, I wasn't surprised. And this was his first season in Arsenal. Remember, we just brought him in the summer. And he scored the most goals he's ever scored in his career in Arsenal for his first season. So let's not do this, let's not rewrite history. Let's not do it.
Yeah. Olajide Oluwa says, at Dayo, a Real Madrid jersey for you, signed by Don Perez, even if Vinny doesn't come alive. I mean, big ups to Olajide Oluwa. That's our...
Hey, don't worry. I'll hang the jersey up.
I love that, brother.
I'll frame it. I'll frame it.
Big ups to you, Olajide Oluwa.
Yeah.
And of course, AFC Oluwa says, AFC always, our big brother down here, says, Tony, we have 3 World Cup winners in our team. Raya, Merino, Zubimendi, Spain saved football. Exactly.
Yes, they did.
And of course, the assembly said, so basically, we're saying the same thing in different ways.
I didn't. Yes, we are saying the same thing. The difference is I'm saying it from the perspective of an Arsenal fan that sees the improvement. You're saying it from the perspective of somebody who just wants to point out the flaws. And I'm saying, okay, I hear you. We know what the flaws are. But from where I stand, I'm looking at the improvement. This is an Arsenal team that last season, when we went into the summer window, I listed a few things that I saw were issues from the last season, which were we needed better discipline. The season before last, which was 23-24 season, Arsenal drew 14 games. 6 of those games, we played with 10 men. Last season, we didn't get any red card. That's an improvement. That's what I'm asking for. Those are the fine margins. Keep 11 men on the pitch. So when I'm speaking about Arsenal, I'm speaking from a perspective of seeing what the mistakes were and where we are now and where we're going to. And guess what? We did the right thing. And the right thing got us the Premier League, got us to the champion. Listen, people, I don't want to sound arrogant or anything. We made it to 3 finals last season.
Facts,
people. We won the Premier League, made the Champions League final, and we made it to the Carabao Cup final. Do you know how many games Arsenal did not play last season? We did not play the semi-final. We did not play the final of the FA Cup. Out of the 67 games available to Arsenal to play in all competitions, Arsenal played 64. Arsenal played 64 out of 67 available. There were 67 available games to play in all competitions, which means you go all the way to the end. We played 64.
That's being competitive. That's being competitive in every single competition that that we had to play.
That's why I don't want to hear the negativity from that perspective. I want to hear how we can improve. I'm tired of people trying to use something that is good and painting it bad. Oh, you guys, last season you didn't win Champions League. So where was your team when I was in 3 different finals? Where was your team when I was leading the Premier League all season? Where was your team when it just cost a penalty, cost me my first Champions League? And I'm happy to say, you know what? Hey, I can lose to a PSG on penalty. The only team that PSG did not score against in the open play was Arsenal. The only team in the Champions League that did not concede open play. Everybody else PSG scored open play against. Every single team. Their attack
every single team.
They were cutting.
Smack them up.
Listen, PSG played 16 games on the way to the final, right? Score 44.
What was the aggregate between PSG and Chelsea, bro? They smashed Chelsea up, bro. It was 8, bro. I mean, all this Chelsea, Chelsea fans, man, you're not talking rubbish, absolutely rubbish. That that they beat PSG 3-0. What happened in the reverse fixture though? Yeah, I mean, just talking absolutely rubbish. People,
I don't address that. I love what happened today. We played MK Dons today, closed door at the stadium at the Soba training center.
Solid, that is assist. How about that?
What did I say to you about Solis and his assist? I said it at the beginning of the season.
Exactly. He said it. This
is why we brought him in. If he can bring in this type of assist, then that's all. Because again, 23 assists, creating 158 chances. It's the Belgian league, but then take those chances, 158, and divide it by 5. If he can create 35 chances, not 158, just 35 across the season, one per game. One per game, one good chance per game for a Gyökeres that we know is clinical. Just create enough, and then he scored 17. If he can come and score 10 on his own and create, I mean, that's what else are you asking from a player?
The Assemble says, so with all the improvements from Arsenal last season, what do you think of the current injury list before the season starts? Okay.
The current injury list right now. I mean, I saw the guys who came back to training. Ben White is back. Timber is back. All those guys
back.
Yeah, Timber is back. Ben White is back. Saka just needs a lot of rest. He's not injured. He just needs a lot of rest from a lot of the games. Declan Rice's injury, they said it's not really an injury, just muscle. He needs to rest as well. It's Saliba that has an injury on his back, and Saliba's back injury does not require surgery. Now we hear he'll be out for like maybe 2 to 3 months doing physical therapy, because apparently it's like a pinched nerve. But with physical therapy, they can actually sort it out. He doesn't need surgery. Surgery would have taken him out for 5 to 6 months. So again, if you look at Mikel Merino, is back from his injury. He played in the World Cup. Zubimendi is playing. He's fit. I think everybody else is fit. We don't really. Saliba is the only major injury. So we need someone for cover for him. We still have Mosquera that can play in that position, but we need a cover for Mosquera as well. And let's not forget
even in copy can play as a center.
No. Let me just even say this. People forget that was Ben White's position. We converted him to a right back. So Ben White is back now.
Ben White as a center back is a no-go.
Listen, let's not.
Don't let us argue about that. Dayo, don't let us argue about it.
I just, you know what I don't like.
It was a shocking central defender. Don't do
that's not true. That's not true. Let's not do this. The only reason we shifted him to the right is because Saliba is better. He was never a shocking center back. In fact, Ben White, when he was center back, had good numbers such that every time him and Gabriel played center back, I think we lost only 3 games before we moved him out to the right. In all the games they played, I have the stats pulled up. So let's not do this. I know that we enjoy seeing him on the right-hand side, but we cannot now change what he did when he was there. This is like me saying, because Saka had a poor season last season, Saka is a terrible player. No, he's been a good player for like 4-5 seasons, and he's just had one bad season. Ben White was good at center back. He was not better than Saliba, but he was a good center back. In fact, Ben White was such a good center back, he would start for any top team in England at the time in the league. Yes, he would start for any top team. Tell me which team he does not get into when he was playing center back for us, when we first brought him. Everybody raved about him. In fact, everybody raved about him so much that he got his call up to England. And we bought it from the team.
I hear you.
Yeah, so let's I hear
you. I hear you. I'm not going to deny he had good performances, but it wasn't like he was.
But you said he was shocking. But that's what I'm saying. The problem
he was a struggling centre back, bro.
No. He wasn't. You know what the difference is?
Yeah,
the difference is,
and that's why we needed someone like Saliba.
No. The difference. We already had. Let me tell you what it is.
The range of
the powers. Listen, we've gotten
in that centre back position, and we are where we are.
Here's the problem.
If he was better, by any inch,
very few
over Saliba, bro, he will be playing in that position right now.
Very few people are better than Saliba in the world, so let's not do that. Saliba is a special centre back. Tell me somebody. Very few defenders are better than Saliba. So again, you cannot use that as a benchmark to judge Ben White. Ben White was a good centre back, but Saliba is an excellent centre back. There is a difference. You've gotten so used to Saliba's standard that you now want to shit on what Ben White did. That's what I will not accept. There's a big difference. Just because now you're driving a Lamborghini does not mean that when you had a Mercedes-Benz, your Mercedes-Benz was not good. Don't sit here and come and do that to these players. I will not allow you to do it. We've gotten so used to Saliba and Gabriel that we're like, which is why we're critical of Hincapié when he plays there, or Mosquera when he played there. We're very critical because we've gotten used to a certain standard. It doesn't mean those players are not good. Saliba is literally the best. Like, how can you compare? You're like, if he was better than Saliba, who's better than Saliba in the world? That's like saying if you're a better goal scorer than Haaland, who's better than Haaland? Why are we using these guys as the benchmark? Messi. People are using Messi as the benchmark. These are special guys. Talk about centre backs. Is Max Lacroix better than Ben White is centre back? No.
Oh no, don't do that. Don't do that. Not even close, bro. Not even
Who's
near.
better? Who's better? Who's better?
Saliba, bro. That's
No, I didn't say Saliba. I said Ben White and Max Lacroix. Who's better?
Ooh.
Would you rather have Lacroix there or have Ben White there? My friend, take several seats.
I'd rather have Ben White, bro.
Thank you. So what are we doing here then? Why are you now saying what are we? Why are we not?
No, because and that's because I don't really respect Lacroix's game.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't respect his reaction.
Check it out.
I don't respect his reactions. He doesn't have an elite reaction to opposition. Again, it's very slow. I just don't really like the way he plays. That's just the thing. Yeah. So I think Arsenal dodged a big bullet with Chelsea taking on this Lacroix defender. But I think Ben White is even better than him.
That's my point. I know, but Tony, that's my point. Though my point is, if you look across the Premier League, look at the central defenders that Chelsea have. Look at the center. Liverpool outside Van Dijk, Konate is gone now.
The Waffle Don, big ups. Dayo, I'm sorry. I have to hail, the Waffle Don. The Waffle Don, my brother. See, people, Monday Night Madness. People, on Monday, my lips are sealed. It's gonna be a goddamn war. I mean, people. Well, I have nothing to say. I'm not gonna say anything until you see the war that's gonna happen on the Monday Night Madness. People, leave whatever you're doing, and show up to this channel, on Monday. Absolute war. I'll be going with an outright war, with negatives. Of our football club. People who want Arteta out. People, I'm gonna be swinging and fighting. People, because people, we can't say that we're Premier League champions and some other people in our football club want the manager out. No, I don't agree. He won the Premier League. Man is going to stay. People, if you want to hear any of that talk, come to the war we have brewing on both our channels. The Waffle Don, my channel. Gianni will be down there. Respect to Gianni. I mean, all these other people that are gonna come there, But me, Gianni, the Waffle Don will be down there. Monday Madness. Don't miss it. The same way Dayo is doing his thing down here, that's what we're going to do on Monday Night Madness, people. But this time, catch us, people. I'll tell you about the timing on Monday, but don't miss it, people. It's full-blown war. Dayo, just before we go, people, our season premieres turn into nearly 2 hours, but people, it's only gonna be for 1 hour from next week, people. 1 hour. Dayo is a family man. I'm a family man.
People don't get used to 2 hours. So when we do 1 hour, you now get upset. Like the way my brother exactly. He's gotten used to Saliba so much that every other center back is just rubbish. His eye.
Exactly,
in Nigeria they say your eye has tear, which means that you have gone and you've tasted forbidden fruit. So now every other thing tastes nasty. You're bougie. Like, oh, he's not good enough. It's because you have Saliba that nobody's good enough. Don't fool yourself. That's the only reason. And who is better than Saliba in the world? Very few.
I hear it.
And that's the problem, bro. Like, I'm telling you,
big up to the Waffle Don who just gave us 350 jewels. See, people, send in your jewels, send in everything, because me and Dayo, we take the proceeds, so people just send it in. Send it in. Big up to the assembled. He says, so what's the benchmark center back? I mean, he has answered it, innit? Waffle Don says, the AFC always says, big ups to the Waffle Don. How about that? AFC always, I mean, it is what it is. The Waffle Don hails you back. See, Dayo, just before we go, let's just touch a little bit on this Bruno Guimaraes thing popping up, If Arsenal will, stomp up the cash, that's even if we get Bruno Guimaraes, we have Zubimendi, he's coming back, World Cup winner. We have Merino, who is also in that position too. We have Mars Lewis Kelly, who at the tail end of last season had very, very amazing displays, yeah. And for us to start putting him back on the bench would only reverse the improvement and development he's had in the team since last season. Yeah. Having said that, we still have Declan Rice, yeah, people, yeah, and these guys are going nowhere. We still have Martin Odegaard, who is also our captain, who did not have, he never had a good season last season. But I mean, with his displays in the World Cup, Arsenal would not let him go. So we now have a cluster of midfielders, yeah, with no outgoings, yeah. How do we fit in Bruno Guimaraes, who we might be bringing for about £100 million? Bro, we're not bringing him to sit down on the bench. You're bringing £100 million plus player to come and play. Declan Rice, 100 plus, is playing, bro. So there is no how you would tell me that Bruno Guimaraes is going to be on a rotational basis. He costs 100 plus, yeah. So let's just do justice to that. When we have all these other midfielders who are just along the way, how do we make this work in the first place without no outgoings yet?
Yeah, let me just give me a second. Let me give you a start here. Zubimendi and Declan Rice played over 10,000 minutes each. Two of them together. Declan Rice played about 5,400 minutes. Zubimendi played about 5,700 minutes. They played about 10,000, almost 11,000 minutes. That's about 112 games between those two players. Wow. So when you're telling me the price of this guy is 100 million, nobody cares about your price anymore. The market is the market. We need rotational players because these guys are running into the ground. Why do you think Declan Rice is tired now, injured at the World Cup and toe injury and falling sick halfway through games? Because his immune system is compromised. He's tired. He's not resting enough. So I don't care what you pay for a player. We need these players to be able to play 30, 35 games only, to be able to maximize their skills so we can win multiple trophies. PSG last season, Dembele played 17 French League One games only. 17. Yeah. They were resting him for the Champions League. They were playing other players and buying quality players to play them in their league. So they won their league, won the Champions League because they could use their best players in the Champions League without running them down in their normal league. Why can we not learn from such a club and have that plethora of players? Why do we have to create a narrative that, where is he going to play? Yes, they'll all have a chance to play. If we're going to be playing 67, maybe even more games next season, how bad is it for every player to be playing 28 games each so that you can get the best out of Bruno Guimaraes, you can get the best out of Declan Rice, you can get the best out of Miles Lewis Kelly, you can get the best out of Zubimendi? And I beg to differ. Mikel Merino is not a 6. Let's stop this narrative. Mikel Merino has always been an 8 and he plays 10. Even for Spain, he plays 8 or 10. He's not a 6. He's never played 6 for Spain. He's never played 6 for Real Sociedad. When he was at Real Sociedad, Zubimendi was a 6. He was an 8. When they all played together, him, Odegaard, and Zubi. Zubi always played in 6. So let's not. Merino has never been a 6. Hence why his movement around the box is very good and he scores a lot of clutch goals. So let's remove Mikel Merino from that narrative. Mikel Merino is more of our 8/10 if we need him in certain games. And he can be a backup second striker. That's the position he plays. So we don't really have, like, us having four DMs. What happened last season when Mikel Merino got injured? Things will happen. A player can get injured and be out. Hence why you need these players. So the price doesn't matter to me. If you're champions and you're a big boy, then behave like a big boy. Have £100 million player sitting on the bench. That's what big boys do. I don't want to hear the narrative. Well, why do we have to go? He must play. No, he doesn't have to. But big boys, when we need you, you step up. When we need you, step up. That's
big
all it
talk.
Is.
People,
listen,
big talk from Dayo. This is big talk, bro.
I'm paying. No,
this
listen,
is big talk, bro. Put your money where your mouth is.
Yes,
this is big talk.
Yeah, I'm paying premium to say to you, whenever I need you, you step up. That's why I paid premium. So whenever I need you, step up, get in there and get the job done. I did not come and I don't want to go get me a 20 million player because, he's going to be the backup. Nonsense. Listen, as much as people don't like Noni Madueke, fair enough. We paid 50 million. That's premium money. When he came against Bayern, step up. He stepped up. Done. Do your job.
Yeah.
Eze, we paid 60 million plus 10 million in add-ons to win out the Premier League. He stepped up. When we needed him against Tottenham back to back, he stepped up.
He stepped up.
So my point is, if I'm paying that, I need my players to rest. I need players to be playing 25, 26 games this season so we can win in the Champions League, win in the Premier League.
So you're not worried that our midfield is clogged with lots of duplicate.
No, I'm not.
With duplicate midfielders out there. You're not worried at all about it.
I'm not worried.
You've seen Chelsea. You've seen a team like Chelsea, yeah, flog their dead weights out, yeah. I mean, Santos out, Garnacho. I mean, all these clowns, yeah, out of the football club. So now you're not really looking at Arsenal and saying, you know what, yeah, how about the clowns we have in our? I don't want to call other guy a clown or whatever, but we see how the clowns in our team.
But again,
like Gabriel Jesus. Yeah, so we see how these clowns in our team.
Gabriel Jesus is going to Flamingo. Let's stop this.
No, I'm not having it. I'm not.
He's going to
yeah, people like Jesus. Yeah, I mean, he's still in this football club. Come on, bro. Yeah, people like Nelson is still in this football club. Yeah, well, we've not even talked about the plans we have with Waneri. Bro, we've not even talked about Waneri, bro. So I'm not saying it's a bomb, but we have all these other bombs in our team, yeah, plus some other special players like Waneri. What are we gonna do to all these players? And
you've shifted the conversation from our defensive.
And again, this narrative of you're okay with the kind of midfielders we have. We need depth. Again, we need that. I hear it. But again, do you think that all these, players that we have right now stockpiled in that midfield, that Waneri, Gabriel Jesus, who doesn't want to go because the money is too rich, bro? If you've been paid 300, why are you
making up stories?
Would you want to go back to Brazil? Why would you want to go to AC Milan? You would want to stay at Arsenal and live.
Why are you making up stories? He even said he's agent. Stop it, Tony. I said this at the beginning.
Like Kai Havertz down here. Don't forget, Noni is also on high wages. He's also in this football club. So, yeah, if we're thinking of going to get Vinicius Jr., we're thinking of getting Bruno Guimaraes. Mind you, we're also still thinking about that swap deal. We'll talk about that next week, people, because we don't have the time to do that. We've always almost
Noni Madueke is on 150,000.
We're still thinking of bringing in Alvarez, bro. Bro, the wage bill is gonna shatter what we normally should be able to cope with, even as English champions, bro. So if you're totally okay, yeah, with all these other players plus the clowns and the bums we have in our team, yeah, to still be at the football club, plus this midfield depth that we should be having, wouldn't it affect us getting players like Alvarez and Vinicius Jr. over the line because of the surging wages that we might have to shell out for these players that we can't even sell out? Isn't it going to be a big problem, Dayo? Don't you think so?
Who said again? I like how you phrase it. Oh, we can't even sell out, or we can't. They're working on selling these players. They've already made it clear. Teams have reached out. Flamingo, Gabriel Jesus, before because the preseason they're having now is not a mandatory preseason. If you know this, Arsenal's preseason right now is not mandatory.
Good evening, Arsenal. I'm sorry, Dayo. I have to hail this guy because I work on a show with him. Big ups to Arsenal domination, people. I will be with Arsenal domination next week, people. Our show is going to be, it's coming back. Second season next week. Me and my brother will be down here. People, Dom, come on, guys. Dom will be here next week. So it is what it is. Go and support, yeah, good stuff, yeah. Arsenal domination does something great. And Dayo, it would be nice, yeah, to have a crossover show with Arsenal domination. You're absolutely gonna like this guy. It's a free spirit. It's a great guy. Amazing personality. It's a positive fan. People, it's hard to see seriously positive fans. Yeah, people. Dayo, you and Arsenal domination. Yeah, you guys are gonna. See, people. It is what it is. See, people. I run this stuff. When I see personalities and not people, yeah, Dayo and Dom are going to do good together. So it is what it is. People, join me and Arsenal domination next week. We'll see how to fix the date for our season premiere. So people join us. You know what it is. You know what Arsenal domination brings to the table. You know all that stats, all the accounts, everything. Man is gonna bring it up to the play. So people go support Arsenal domination. People go subscribe to his channel.
Yeah.
So that you were saying something, bro.
Just quickly. So Damien, you know who Damien Augustine is? He got the assist for Candice O'Neill.
Yeah.
Today for
Yeah.
Arsenal. Yeah.
Are they going to Arsenal, right?
Yeah, in the preseason. Are they going to play for? Are they playing in the league? No, they're not. These guys are just here because.
Come on, man. You can't
So I'm going somewhere. Listen, I'm going somewhere with this. The players that are going to leave the club, which the club has clearly stated that these guys are going to leave, either on loan or whatever it is, they're working on those deals. We know that they're not part of Mikel Arteta's plans. Why? Because he's getting other players to fill their position. So if you're bringing somebody else to fill somebody's position, if you're bringing in a striker like Julian Alvarez, it means that you know that one of your strikers is leaving. It's clear that the club wants to up the level and they're going to find a way to deal with all these financial things. It is not my job to pocket watch Arsenal. Arsenal made £760 million last season, shattered their previous record that they made over almost £200 million in profit. Our wage ratio to earning ratio is at 48%. Even if we add another 2 top earners, we'll probably get to 50%. We are still one of the best teams when it comes to wages vis-a-vis what we earn. Regardless of the fact that we're paying Bukayo Saka almost 300k, regardless of the fact we're paying Havertz 275, and Noni, you said, was on big wages. Noni's on 150 a week. Let's not do, you see, and 150 is the average for majority of clubs. In fact, Chelsea is a 150k a week salary club for most of their players and bonuses. So why do we spin these narratives like that? Or Noni's on the big wage, or this guy is dead. No, we already know that these guys are being replaced. That tells you that they're going to get rid of them. That simply tells you that as a business, if you're replacing something, it means you're not using the old one. And you find something to do with the old one. So do you think
Gabriel Jesus is going to leave this summer? I need concrete answers. I don't need us to dance
let me answer. You asked the question. I'm about to answer.
Around the bush.
I did not answer. I just said to you that
this summer, is he going to go?
Again, if you listen, I just said.
I just said. Yeah, you know how to dance around the bush. And then what we're really talking about.
Did I not just say he's going? Did I not just tell you that he's going to Flamengo?
In the football
did I not just tell you that he's going to Flamengo? Did I not just tell you that he's going to?
Because I'm a straight shooter. Yeah, I don't hide around the corners. I'm hiding around the cracks. He's a bum. He needs to leave the football club. Are we going to get these bums out of the football club? Yes,
what did I tell you? What club did I tell you he's going to?
I don't know what you said, bro.
Because you just
said they're working on the deal, bro. How many seasons have we been working?
You are not
on this season in the football club. Man is still here. And again, how would he go when he's on 350, bro? If you were the one on that contract,
he's not on 350. Stop lying. Stop lying. He's not on 350. Would you leave a contract of 350? Bro, every week, 350k every week. Are you going to leave 350k and go back to Brazil? Really? Is this what we're saying, bro? So you really believe in your heart, Dayo, yeah? That Guimaraes is going to leave that contract. I told you. Hold on. I told you to Brazil. Listen. I told you at the beginning of this stream that I want the truth to be told. Gabriel Jesus is on £265,000 a week, not 350. Stop lying.
Sorry.
Stop lying. I don't like it.
No. That was a mistake.
No, I don't care. I don't care about this mistake. This is the reason why. I did.
That was a mistake. It's 200, 200, 300. It's almost the same thing. What are we talking about?
Let me finish. When you asked me where he's going, I said Flamengo have already made an interest and they're working on that deal. He's definitely going somewhere. Whether he chooses to go to Brazil or not is not your business. The point is there is deals being done now that they've asked of him. They're saying, okay, pay us 20 million. They want to pay 15. We're looking at the middle ground. Regardless of what it is, they're trying to get these guys out. So to sit here and make up his salary number, say 350, because people are going to watch this stream and say Gabriel Jesus on 350.
That's a mistake.
No. It's not just a mistake. It's not just a mistake.
We all make mistakes. No, it's not just a mistake. You're going to make one mistake one day.
It's not just a mistake.
And I'm going to latch onto that mistake.
It's not just a mistake. It's the exaggeration of how we paint this club. The fact that they're bringing in a new striker means they're working on getting out the old ones just because the window is not closed. Has the season started? Is Gabriel Jesus on the bench? No. By the time the window last summer, did we think we were going to get a Berichi Eze onto the last day? We didn't. None of us thought we were getting him. The window was not closed, and we did something, and he came in. Let the window close, then we can then come and judge whether they got rid of Reece Nelson or they got rid of Gabriel Jesus or not. But in the meantime, they're bringing in people to replace some of these people. They're already working on deals to replace them. So if they're working on the deals to replace them, I don't care if you want to keep them on the bench or send them to the B team. Just replace them is all I ask. I don't care if you're telling me they're a leech on the club. How are they a leech on the club? You're a leech on the club.
Bro,
We made the
bro,
hold on.
bro.
Hold on.
Bro,
Hold on.
bro, every
Hold on.
week,
We're
bro,
leech.
come
Hold
on, man.
on. You
It
tell
takes
me.
its toll.
No.
Come on,
Let me
bro.
finish. Let me finish.
It takes its toll. What are we talking about?
It takes
its toll, bro.
It takes its toll.
Reece
Yeah.
Nelson is still leeching from the football club. Bro, what are we talking about? We are still paying Waneri. If you don't want Waneri,
I'm going to say this
again.
again.
People have not said Waneri is a bum because Dayo is going to say I called Waneri a bum. He's not a bum. I'm talking of the bums we have in the team, yeah? But let's even include the better ones, like Waneri. We don't have any definition of their roles in the team. So what are you going to do? Do you want to keep Waneri or do you want to sell him? Because even if you put that kid on loan, we are still going to be paying part of his wages, even if he plays in another football club on loan. So I'm looking at the culmination of this whole cash we'll be expending. And when you check it, if we cannot flog out these players, do you think we can literally just bring in Vinicius Junior, Alvarez, and pay them all this big money that we're talking about? Hypothetically.
It is so mind-boggling that year in, year out for the last 5 years, Arsenal has kept on making profit over profit with these same players on the same wages in the same club. All of a sudden now, the wages are the problem, even though we made the most money we've ever made last season. Why are we so disingenuous as Arsenal fans, pocket watching something that is thriving? The club is making more and more money with these same players still in there. And yet, you want to make it seem as though the wages of these players is what's going to drain us and we cannot bring in quality players. Let's not be disingenuous. Let's be honest about this thing. The truth is, yes, they're on big wages, but guess what? They've lived up enough to get us to the place where the club has made money year in, year out. We have become a profitable club after Wenger since 2018. That's when we started making profit. We were not making profit before that. We were in debt. Now we're making profit. Yeah, 200 and something million pounds was what we made last year in profit. In profit. Not in 760 million overall. 200 million of that was profit. Plus this salary that we're talking about. So what are we doing? And I just told you, even if you bring in a Julian Alvarez and you bring in a Vinicius Junior at 400k a week, which brings him up to about 2 million a month, which brings him up to about 24 a year, right? Even if you bring him in at 24 a year salary over the next 5 years, which comes to about 100 and something million, if he gets us to the Champions League final next season, we make that 100 million back first. So what are we doing? What are we pocket watching? We made almost 90 something to 100 million, making it to the Champions League final. We made about another 100 and something million from the broadcast rights of the Premier League alone.
Yeah.
So my point is, if you have a player that can get you there, then you will make the profit back. So why are we pocket watching what they want to pay these guys, or is these guys are going to drain? How much are they draining that we're making noise about? The deal that we put on our hand alone, we know how much that deal is. Talk less of the other little things that we're doing. So I just don't do the whole. I don't like it because I think that it's just a way of people trying to hammer the club down. All this, they are leeches. Let's call them leeches. No. I don't do that. This guy served the club. He had an injury. We could not sell him last season because he was injured for the whole season. You can't sell an injured player. Now that he's not injured and he's fit and firing a little, find the club for him to go to. That's all it takes. And it's not that hard. They're doing it. They did it for Ethan last year. Did they not get Ethan the club to go to? Did they not get, we make it sound like we've not seen this club do the right thing. And then we just want to make up things and then paint the club with that thing. You cannot tell me that a club that has all these players paying all this salary and making profit is not successful. And you say, well, how are they going to pay these new guys when they come? How did we pay these other guys? Was it not because we're successful at it? We're making profit. Let's stop acting like
this is what it is. But again, you're talking about profits, yeah. But again, you could also optimize on those profits made by making good a sales plan, yeah, and coming good, on those players that we've not gotten over the line, like sold, make profits. I mean, when was the last time we really did make good sales. I mean, from the players that we had.
We're not
I
a
mean,
selling club.
I mean, look at the player we just sold to Besiktas. Yeah, what's his name? The Belgian
Trossard. Yeah.
20 million.
How much are we
Yeah.
buying for?
But
How much are we buying
20
for?
million? No. Wait. 20 million. But I'm comparing
How much
that
we buy
sale.
Trossard for?
I'm comparing that sale to
You
what
can't.
Chelsea might get next year.
You can't. You know why?
Yeah,
You know why you
from
can't
selling
compare.
Garnacho.
You know why you can't
40
compare
million,
that?
bro.
You know why you can't
And
compare.
Garnacho is a bum.
You know what?
I mean,
You see,
I would take Trossard 3 times on a Sunday in my team, but Chelsea will be getting nothing less than 40 million. Yeah, for a bum like Garnacho. So
you see, this is the problem. Hold on. This is the problem, Tony. This is the problem. You forget that these businesses are done based on what the purchasing of that player is. Yes, they might improve, they might not improve, whatever. Garnacho, first and foremost, was bought 50 million by Chelsea. So when Chelsea wants to sell, they're not going to try to sell anything cheaper than that because they want to make some money back. They know they made a mistake and they want to make that money back.
So we don't want to make some money back.
Listen.
So we don't want to make some money back. No,
let me finish.
That Chelsea want to make some money back. So we don't want to make some money back.
Let me finish, Tony. Let me finish. We bought Leandro Trossard for 27 million, right? From Brighton for 3 seasons. He's 30 years old. He's going to be 31. There's no resale value on a 31-year-old, unlike a 25-year-old or a 24-year-old in football. And because there's no resale value, we're selling him for 20 million, which means he has we lost 7 million for a guy that won us the Premier League. That's how you calculate what that player's value is. Because we brought a player in for 27 and sold him for 20 after 3 years at 30 years old. There's a big difference in that business deal. For you to equate that deal to a Garnacho deal is disingenuous as an Arsenal fan because you want to make Arsenal look like they're not selling. The point is, what is the value of the player that we're selling vis-a-vis what we're making on that player? I agree, we're not a big selling club. We don't sell for big money, but that has always been Arsenal. We've never been a big selling club, and we cannot be everything and all things and everything. Chelsea is a big selling club, but they're bums on the pitch. They've been bums for the last 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want, so my point is, if I'm winning on the pitch with my players, even if I'm getting them for Christian Norgard, a good quality player, if he's also leaving, he's leaving this season. They're trying to get him to go to Saudi. Al Hilal is asking, how much do we pay for Christian Norgard? We got him for how much? How much do we pay for Christian Norgard? 13 million, or 11 million or something.
No, it's about 10 million or something like that.
Yeah, 10 million.
Al
Hilal is asking for about 26 now. They are working on a deal, trying to get him. He wants to go to Saudi. If the Saudi deal comes to that profit of 16 million, but I don't see any of you saying, oh, you sold the player at 16 million profit. No, instead, we want to harp on, oh yeah, why can't we just sell the player for 90 million like Chelsea? I don't care. We made more money than Chelsea last season. So I don't care if we're selling players like them or not. As a club, we made more money than majority of the clubs. So why do I care whether you're selling me Gabriel Jesus for 45 or not? All these bragging rights of, Garnacho is a bomb. I don't care if Garnacho is a bomb. United were able to sell him to Chelsea for 15 million. Chelsea is going to feel like, hey, if I'm going to get rid of this guy, 35, 40, so that I make something back at least. That's how they value the players. If Garnacho was bought for 20 million, I guarantee you Chelsea will sell him for like 15, 18. They are happy to do that. We bought Leandro Trossard for 27 and sold him for 20. For God's sakes, and he won us the Premier League. And he's 30 years old. How many 30 years old can you sell for 20 million? Let's not do this, man.
I hear you, but again, one thing you would not deny is that Arsenal is not a big.
We're not a selling club. I accept that.
Selling club, we don't make.
I accept that. I accept
selling players, and that's because these players, when they come to Arsenal, they have overbloated wage structures and salary. That makes it even more harder for you to even flog them off, even if they're not performing.
That's not true, though. That's not true, though, because we have the best percentage wage salary to profit making in the Premier League. So that means that our wage salary is actually
no, you're looking at it as a collective, but I'm looking at it as on individual basis. I'm looking at it on individual basis. I'm not looking at it as a collective. Because the collective would definitely hide the information and hide the details. So when we do it individually, it gives us a panoramic view of what you're talking about individually, because I pointed out players individually leeching out of the football club, not as a collective. So in that same vein, if you to make those certain generalization, it's a little bit disingenuous, because I'm not saying that the whole team are bum. I'm saying that a cross section of players that we have in the team, you know, it needs to be kicked out. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, all the players you've mentioned, apart from Gabriel Jesus, who's the high earning one that is there, everybody else, Reece Nielsen is on 40K. Like you talk about these guys like, oh yeah, they're earning some big money. Gabriel Jesus is the only guy on that list that you mentioned that you're calling a bomb, and you want to now use that to paint the entire thing. Do you realize that the average Arsenal wage structure, I'm looking at it right here, is about 150? People like Ben White, Julian Timber is on 130, Ricardo Calafuri is on 105, Mikel Merino is on 105, Pierre Nkapie is on 100, Zubimendi is on 100, Trossard was on 100, David Raya is on 100, right? Norgard was on 80K, Kepa was on 75K, Mosquera is on 70K. All these guys, Noni Madueke is on what? Noni Madueke is on 50K a week. Noni Madueke plus his bonuses. So all this noise that we're all making, like we make it sound like, oh, get rid of these bombs. They're leeching on the club. 50K a week? The only person on that place is Gabriel Jesus. And he took us from when he came in, his first 2 seasons before he got injured, to be challenging. He carried this team on his back. Yes, it's time for him to go. But I'm not going to call him a bomb. I'm not going to call him a bomb. Who else here? Who else here is earning? Victor Gyökeres is on 200K a week. We make it sound like these guys are earning some kind of mad thing. Arsenal are very, very good with their individual wage structure. There's only a few players: Bukayo Saka, Kai Havertz, William Saliba, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard. Those are the guys who are earning anything that is above 220. And Gabriel Jesus now.
So you don't think we should be flogging out Kai Havertz, though?
I don't think Kai Havertz needs to go. I don't think so. Kai Havertz is a good player.
So?
I'll have him off the bench any day. This is why you need quality players off the bench. Who are you replacing him with? Like what are we doing?
With Alvarez is coming in, with the Vinicius Juniors coming in. We have an overstacked midfield. So we can actually, we're good in,
what is overstacked midfield? If you get rid of Norgard,
we have enough players that could give us the same thing that Kai Havertz gives us, even with a more lower wage structure and wage salary. We can say, like, hey, Kai Havertz, we're going to sell you and bring in Merino to do the same thing that Kai Havertz is doing, and even do it more better, because he will even give us more goals up front than Kai Havertz will do in a season.
Really?
How about that?
Really?
Yeah.
Merino
will give us more goals than Kai Havertz in a season.
I don't know why. This is what I call like.
No, Dayo, you're laughing, but it's true. It's true. So why not sell out Kai Havertz? Why not sell out Kai Havertz and have Merino do his job from the bench? And we will pay lesser because Merino is commanding a more lesser fee. Bro, what are we talking here? And if we have Alvarez, we have Vinicius Jr. and Bukayo Saka is still doing his thing. Zubimendi is still down there, who could actually play 6 and 8. We can do that, if we want to. We have Bruno Guimaraes, who gives other midfielders a new lease of life down there. We still have don't forget that Marcel with Skelly is coming at the back of a good end of last season, bro. That we can still use him to do a thing or two from that midfield too. So it makes what Kai Havertz will give us next season a little bit of, there will be a little bit of redundancy in or duplicity in what he's gonna give us. You can use Merino down there, bro. Bro, we have players who can do that, bro. Yeah, we see how Gyökeres. Come on, what are we talking about, bro? So we're not going to be losing at the end of the day.
Listen, I'm going to say this. I don't do recency bias because I don't just like to talk for talking's sake. I talk because the facts actually say it. Kai Havertz's best season for us until after he got injured was 23-24 season. Kai Havertz scored how many goals in that season? 13 goals, 6 assists. He gave us 19, right? Mikel Merino's best season for us. Yes, I love.
Don't do that. No. You see, you're biased. Don't do that. Dayo, don't do that. Don't do that. They weren't even playing.
So why did you say? So why? Let me
ask the full striker for Arsenal. Marino isn't. Marino isn't a full.
Let me ask you a question. Why did you then bring up
scoring?
Tony,
Even when he started scoring,
I'm not
we
going
started him as a
to let you
midfielder.
speak. I'm
When
not going
we
to
saw
let you
that it
speak.
did not
I'm
work,
not going to
then
let. I'm not going to let you
full-blown
speak.
put
I'm
him
not going to
in
let you
the,
speak. I'm not going to let you speak.
in
I'm
that
not going to let
striking
you speak.
position.
I'm not going to let you
Don't
speak.
do that, bro.
I'm not going
It's
to let
not
you
good.
speak. I'm not
It's
going to let you speak.
unfair. It's unfair to
You
Marino.
no.
Don't do that.
You brought up the goals. This is what I hate the most. You just sat here earlier and said he will give us more goals than Kai Havertz. So I brought up the goal tally now, and you said don't do that. You started it off by saying Mikel Merino can do the job and he will give you more goals than Kai Havertz. I'm using your words, what you said.
But how can you compare him to how can you compare him to Kai Havertz, who is the full-fledged striker, bro? And who started in that position?
Tony,
Marino did not start in that position.
Tony,
He started out as a midfielder, bro.
Tony, you said it first. You were the one who said Mikel Merino. You compared them by saying Mikel Merino will give you more goals than Kai Havertz. So it's okay for you to do it. And then when I want to pull up the numbers, you say, oh, don't compare them. That's not fair. But you said it. It's okay for you to bring it up. Like, you can't have a conversation this way. There's no way you cannot sit here and say Mikel Merino will give you more goals than Kai Havertz. Then I say, okay, well, let's look at their goal contribution then, because that's what we're comparing now.
So
you brought it up.
So
you brought it up. So let's look at their goal contribution.
The World Cup, scoring the European Championship.
Let's
look at. You think he can score more goals than Kai Havertz on a good day?
But he hasn't yet. He hasn't yet. So there's nothing for me to compare. But you brought it up. So you're going by hypotheticals. It could still happen, though. But you're going by hypotheticals. You're going by it could still. We haven't seen it yet. But we've seen Kai Havertz's own. And we haven't seen his yet. Yes, he's a clutch player. Yes, he scores big goals. Yes, he scores in important games. Get it. Kai Havertz does the same thing. He scores in important games. Who scored our Champions League final goal? If not for Mosquera's mistake and the penalty. Hold on. Who's good?
But we lost the Champions League.
Of course. But I'm saying. So what I'm driving at is Kai Havertz scored in an important game, just like Mikel Merino scores in an important World Cup game. These guys score in important games. Did Kai Havertz play well for Germany in the World Cup? Yes, he did. Did he score in important games in the World Cup? Yes, he did.
This goal tally you bringing about Kai Havertz.
No. But you started it. You cannot sit there. You cannot sit there.
He scored those goals in that season.
Tony, you cannot sit there. You cannot sit there and say.
Came on, won the league for us with the goals he scored.
You cannot sit there. You cannot sit there.
All these goals.
You cannot sit there.
He didn't win the league for us in its highest goal scoring season for us. Yeah, but Gyökeres came on his first try, and on his highest goal scoring season for us, and he won the trophy. So you can do all this stuff part. You're good at doing all this thing.
I'm about to burst
padding all this stuff.
No,
yeah, I haven't won the league for us. Gyökeres won the league for us. So don't do that, bro. Don't do that.
You know what you've just done?
Don't do that.
You just shot yourself in the foot. Who scored the goal against Burnley that won us the league? Because the league was won against Burnley. Who scored that goal? Who scored the goal?
Who scored against West Ham? Who scored against West Ham?
Who scored the goal against Burnley?
Who scored against West Ham, bro?
The game that counts. Hold on. You see how disingenuous you are? The game that counts.
That people like Kai Havertz they need to go. No. People like Kai Havertz, they need to go right now.
I hate. You know what?
No, Dayo.
I'll be honest with you, Tony,
see it my way for once.
I cannot see
it my way for once. When we're having
any facts. No, you're giving feelings. And facts don't care about your feelings. You're giving feelings. And facts don't care about feelings. Facts don't care about
talking about bringing in players like Vinicius Jr., Alvarez into the fray. Do you still want to see players like Kai Havertz rolling around?
My brother, that's a good question. Where was Gyökeres in the Champions League final? Where was this Gyökeres in the Champions League final? Facts don't care about your feelings, my brother. Let me tell you this again. Kai Havertz scored the goal against Burnley. That goal was written by the Premier League as the goal that won Arsenal the league. Because guess why? After that, City went on and drew their game. And as soon as City drew that game, the next game we had against Crystal Palace was a dead rubber game. That was it, done. The league had been won. And who scored the winning goal in that game? That game could have ended 0-0 for us. You know this. That game was this close. So what are we doing here?
It's still very funny. It's very ironical. It's funny and it's ironical, yeah?
Then you turn
that
around
on one end, yeah, with the first part of your mouth, yeah, you're saying, hey, Vinicius Jr. is good for Arsenal. With the other part of your mouth, you're also saying Alvarez is also good. Bring him in. Yeah. Bro, Guimaraes is good. Bring him on. And with another breath, from your mouth, you're also saying keep Kai Havertz, bro.
what did I
Can
say?
you
Come
see
from?
the levels, bro?
What did I say?
Bro,
Kai
you
Havertz come
just
from?
talked about.
Where did
Bro,
I
you
say?
just talked about progression.
You
You've just talked about progression and
you are not
bringing
going
in
to.
a
You are not going
certain
to.
caliber
You're not
of
going to
players
change my.
into
You're not
Arsenal.
going to
But
change my words and life.
you still
I'm not
want
going to do that
players
to me.
that are not at par with what Arsenal would need going forward to still be at the football club.
What did I say?
What is the need of going forward? When you
What
go
did I
forward,
say?
you want to bring in players that can actually meet up that certain kind of caliber you're talking about, bro. So Kai Havertz doesn't do that for us again.
What did I say about Kai Havertz when I said bring in Julian Alvarez and all these guys? I said I don't mind having the Kai Havertz come off the bench so that these guys can rest. Is that not what I said?
Well,
so for you to sit
why
here,
why not have someone like a Bacola off the bench? What I'm saying. You can actually scale your bench. You can actually scale your bench to be another 11 on the bench.
The man that is pocket watching Arsenal. The man that is pocket watching Arsenal is saying bring Bacola that is on 300k a week. Yeah, also there's too many wages. So now you want to bring another 300k wages. You see how disingenuous you are? You cannot sit here and you want to eat your cake and have it. Now you're mentioning the Bacolas. Bring Bacola. So you want to have Vinicius Jr. and Bacola, and you think that Bacola will stay? He will go somewhere else and start for the other club. My point is, if you're going to, if you're going to,
he can play in multiple areas across the front line.
Kai Havertz is good enough to be.
Bacola can also play in multiple places across the front line. You can play Bacola just in behind a main striker. You can play Bacola just in behind a main striker. Bro,
Bacola is not a bench player.
You know that Bacola is multidisciplinary players that can be played in different multidimensional positions. Don't do this with me. You know that. You know that's the truth. So if I say okay, good. Since we're in the season of looking at players that are at a certain caliber, we're looking at Alvarez, we're looking at Vinicius Jr., which is a good thing. He helps out the team. So why are you not in on selling out the players that, okay, are not up to that caliber yet? Thanks for what you've done. Thanks for your service. Build him a statue, I don't care. But get him out and go bring in players that are at that caliber. What is wrong with what I've said?
I think what you said right now.
What is wrong with what I've said?
A lot is wrong with it, because again, the difference is this. All I have simply said is, if I'm going to upgrade, which means I'm saying to my players, you guys, thank you for winning the Premier League. You did well, but I'm bringing better. You're going to go to the bench, and you got to prove to me that we can win the Premier League with you as well off the bench. Now I've brought in better. I don't have to get rid of them and bring in new guys and try and blend my new team together, remove all my core players that know each other, send everybody away, bring in new guys.
Was Kai Havertz our core player? Kai Havertz our core player winning the Premier League?
Do you know what core means?
No. You said take out our core players. Was Kai Havertz our core player? I did not say starting 11 players. I said core players who know the club, who know what to do when they get on the pitch. Guimaraes is a core player for Arsenal because he comes off the bench, he knows the club, he's in training week in, week out. Everything. Miles Lewis-Kelly is a core player because they play consistently with Arsenal off the bench in training. So when they come on the pitch, they know what to do. I'm not going to gut all that out because I want to satisfy some negativity perception that Kai Havertz ain't good enough, when I know that Kai Havertz off the bench can get the job done. I've brought in Julian Alvarez now to be my starting guy. If I need Alvarez to rest for 2 weeks, Kai Havertz can play in the Carabao Cup, in the FA Cup, while Julian Alvarez rests enough for the Champions League. That is smart management of people. You just don't sit here and got your core players, bring in all new guys who now need time to blend and learn, and then when the club does not succeed, you say Arteta out. But you are the same fans who are asking him to gut out the core players and bring in new people to replace them, bring in Julian Alvarez and bring in Bacola and bring in all these multiple 25. We saw what happened when we brought in 8 new players last season. Every time we played 6 players that were new, we drew those games because it takes time for players to gel together. But you don't want to hear that. All you want to do is satisfy your opinion that Kai Havertz is not good enough because you've made a narrative of it. And Kai Havertz is good enough to come off the bench. Simple. Full stop. Period. And he will start for any team in the Premier League if he leaves Arsenal. Kai Havertz started for Germany in the World Cup and was scoring goals. If he's not good enough, why is he able to play for all these other people? Let's not do this. Let's not be disingenuous. Because you don't like a player or you've given a player a certain perception, you now want to make a narrative of it. When you know that player can actually come off the bench, like what's the big deal? So if you get rid of him and you bring a new person,
you've brought in Julian Alvarez that needs time to blend. You bring in another new guy to replace Kai Havertz that needs time to blend.
Bro, those kind of players don't need time to blend. Bro, what are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, they don't.
Those kind of players are elite, bro. They're elite players for a reason, bro. There is a reason why Alvarez is one of the most decorated players ever. Yeah, but in Europe, bro, everywhere, bro. Man has won the World Cup. Yeah, man has won the Premier League. Man has won the Spanish La Liga.
Julian Alvarez struggled. He struggled in his first season at La Liga when he first went back.
It's won the
Copa
America. Bro, he's won everything, bro.
He struggled. I'm not saying he hasn't won everything. Listen,
we don't talk about all those adapting thing with all these elite players, bro. They don't have time for all that shit. They just come, play, and win. That's what they do. Yeah, they're elite for a reason, bro. Yeah, Alvarez is an elite player. When you have a player like Vinicius Jr., bro, there's no time to acclimatize. They just come in and off they go. They're elite players for a reason. So when we're thinking of progressing and developing, and we're trying to bring in all these kind of players, we should also move together with that change. Bring in players that can be able to play at that same level or even more better than what we have. Yeah. And then push the other ones to the curb. I mean, push the other ones that are not playing on that level to the curb, bro. Last time I checked, this is not a charity. This is a business. Yeah. Arsenal Football Club, bro, it's a football club. It's not a charity. It's where people like me and you support, will put in all this energy to see our club improve. So if I'm saying, hey, we're looking at all these multiple elite players, why don't we add more? Bro, there's no crime in it. You should even be more happy that I'm positive about, developing or improving from where we at. So, I mean, I don't see it, but it's what it is.
The truth is the club
big ups, my guy, bro. How are you doing?
The club has disappointed all of you that were negative fans. Now you don't really have anything to say. So now you want to pick up on anything and everything that you can find.
Bro, everybody knows me. Bro, everybody, I'm not negative. No. Everybody knows me. I'm not negative.
Julian Alvarez, I want to say this. That Julian Alvarez,
I'm a balanced fan. Yeah.
If you're talking about stats,
I respect other people's opinion, and this is where you have a problem, Dayo. You don't see the other side. Yeah, no, and I'm someone that is more balanced because I understand that there's good and bad. You just think that there's just good. No, and it's not true.
That's not what I said, though.
The world is not all rainbows.
Again, I never said that.
Unicorns, rainbows, and all this stuff people think it is. Yeah, it's not only about the good. There's the good and the bad, and that's why I look at these things and I know that they are lines. Yeah, that are balanced lines, and there are lines that are not balanced. Yeah, and you need to balance them together. I am one of the most positive Arsenal fans you can get out there, bro. So when you say that you think I'm negative, bro, it is what it is. Yeah.
No.
People even say I'm one of the wildest. I'm one of the wildest positive.
I'm going to
say this again. For crying out loud.
I'll say this again.
I'm one of the most balanced Arsenal fans out there.
I will say this again. A lot of times when I speak, you listen to respond. You don't listen to hear what I'm saying, and that's fair. All the time I speak to you because
you think everything is rainbows and unicorns.
That's not what I said. I simply said, update the team, bring in better players, and move the players that are there now to the bench. You say no. Update the team with new players, remove all the players that are there and bring in another set of new players. And I told you that. Do you realize what you're saying? You're asking for an overhaul in one season, and that overhaul is going to be difficult for players to blend. Then you go forward and say they're elite players, they're going to get down, hit the ground running. How many goals did Julian Alvarez score last season in Atletico Madrid? He struggled. Sometimes players struggle. You can't just assume they'll hit the ground running. And by the way, even in the World Cup, Julian Alvarez scored 1 goal in 6 games that they played in the World Cup. Kai Havertz, that were rating and calling this thing, scored 3 goals in 4 games. So what are we doing here? So why can't we have him on the bench and have Julian Alvarez?
But then you have to look at the position.
Listen. I hear you, but my point is
you have to look at the position, bro.
Kai Havertz was playing as a second striker.
Alvarez was playing behind Messi.
I know.
Kai Havertz was playing as a full-fledged striker, bro.
He was playing as a second striker. Stop lying.
As a full-fledged striker, bro.
Stop lying. He played as the second striker for Germany in this World Cup every single time. He played as a second striker.
Most
not
of the
do this.
time, he was even playing
I
in
agree,
behind
but he was
in some
played as a
cases.
second
But
striker. I don't
again,
like this.
but
See,
you
this
would
is
say,
what I don't like.
but
Tony.
you won't look at
I
it
like,
from
I
that
like, fact,
angle
I like
anyway.
factual
So
truth. I like factual truth. He was played as a second striker, yes or no? You can't just change the narrative to suit your argument. The truth is, we're both played as second strikers. Julian Alvarez played as second striker. Kai Havertz played as second striker. Fair enough. It's going to be a long.
no, he played as a full-fledged number one striker, bro. What second striker was he playing as? Nah, he played as the main guy. He was the main guy. What are you doing, bro? He played as the main guy. Alvarez was even the one playing as a second striker, bro. Why are we doing? Dayo, why are you doing this, bro? You can't be.
Okay. No. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear any noise.
And you know
Julius
what?
Nagelsmann.
Wait, for you to even be comparing. For you to even be comparing Kai Havertz and Alvarez, it's an injustice in its own.
You started this
That's
nonsense.
a big injustice, bro.
You
Don't do
started
this,
this
bro.
nonsense.
In the world of podcasting, yeah.
You started this nonsense, and I'm going to finish
bro,
it.
don't do it again.
Kai Havertz.
Don't ever, bro. No matter, bro. No matter the stats you have down there in the screen, yeah.
No,
Please don't do this again. Don't ever compare
this is
any
the German.
way, in any shape
This is
or
the
manner.
German national
Alvarez
team
and Kai Havertz. Don't do it.
Julius Nagelsmann deployed Kai Havertz as a false nine and also as an attacking midfielder in the World Cup. This is Julius Nagelsmann's own words. So when you now sit here and try to tell me,
the World Cup, bro.
I don't care.
Bro, we did, bro. I did all German games in the World Cup. Why are you telling me, bro? We watched it. We saw what he played. He was there as our main striker, bro. Alvarez was the second striker, bro.
On paper, when they were both assigned, when they said they look at the team list, every time Alvarez was deployed as a second striker, Kai Havertz was deployed as a false nine. He might now go in and play as the main nine when the game starts. But I'm saying on paper, on the bloody list, when the list is put up in FIFA to FIFA, what was Kai Havertz signed up as? This is what I'm saying to you. So I'm not arguing about players can change. You have players who play on the left wing and cross to the right. Cross on the right. Dembele does it with the Doué and they do that. Does that mean that Dembele is now a left winger? No. Does that? My point is Kai Havertz on paper is a false nine for Germany. The same way Julian Alvarez is a false nine for Argentina.
So if Alvarez comes into our team, I mean, you reckon he starts above Kai Havertz, innit?
Yes, he does. That's what I said. Put Kai Havertz on the bench. I said this clearly. This is why I said you don't listen to what I'm saying. I said bring in Julian Alvarez.
No. I listen. No. Do you know why? Because you just answered my question. Because right now you're comparing these two players.
No.
You're comparing these two players as if Kai Havertz is more better than Alvarez.
That's not what I'm comparing them. All I'm saying is I'm basically comparing them because I'm telling you that Kai Havertz is still good enough to come off the bench and do a business. You said get rid of him. And I'm saying bring in Julian Alvarez and put Kai Havertz on the bench.
Did I just say get rid of him? Did I just say get rid of him?
You said
is that only what I said?
You said bring in Bakola.
You don't
then
listen
you said,
to
no. Then you said bring in Bakola. And then
exactly.
I said,
what I said, because that changes the whole dynamic.
And then hold on. And then I said to you, you want to get rid of your core team. Like you have to think about this holistically. It's not just about, okay, I don't think Kai Havertz is good enough. You want to bring in Bakola, a new player. Then your excuse was, or your counter was, these are top players that will hit the ground running. But you were the same person who was worried about wages, but you want to bring in a Bakola for 300k who's earning more than Kai Havertz. You said Kai Havertz is a bomb, 265. Get rid of him, but bring in Bakola at 300 a week. Somebody who is earning more than, like, what are we
clearly
doing?
Better than Kai Havertz.
Like what? But Bakola is a left winger. Kai Havertz is not. So you're bringing in a left winger, Vinicius Junior, and then now you're like, oh, we can. Then you can deploy. Then you can deploy Bakola as a false nine. How many times has Bakola played? How many times has Bakola played? How many times has Bakola played as a false nine?
Bro, I don't know, but it's in his wheelhouse.
He plays left or right wing. He's never been played as a false
I hear it, but he can play in behind.
I don't know, but he's never played behind this. He's never done it though. He's only played left or right wing. That's the point. We've never seen him play behind the striker. So how do you know he can do it when you've never seen it? We've never seen
things could still, but again, these things could still be switched. Vinicius Junior could also play behind the striker. We've seen these things happen, bro. It can happen. That one, you can't deny that one. He's played behind the striker before. And then you can use Bakola on that left-hand side. So, bro, we can turn this thing around. That's what I'm saying. You're laughing because you know it's true. It can be turned around.
I'm laughing because you're clutching at straws. Yeah. So now you want Vinicius Junior, who does his best business on the left. Just because you want to shoehorn Bakola in, you now want to bring him to a position where he also thrives, but that's not his best.
Why? Don't teams try to shoehorn?
My point is,
when you have star players.
My point
Don't
at
you
this
do that?
stage, at this stage of where Arsenal is, shoehorning is not something you do anymore. You fix the issues that are the issues. The left wing is the issue. Bring in the Vinicius Junior. Bring in the Solis. Solidify your left wing. If you need to solidify your attack and you say Kai Havertz is not good enough, bring in Julian Alvarez. Drop Kai Havertz to the bench. Get rid of Gabriel Jesus. Do the sensible thing whereby you don't have brand new multiple players at the same time. No matter how elite they are, if they don't blend in the first few games, it could easily throw your entire season off. So it's simple. Do the right things. Don't just get excited. Yeah, guy, get rid of this guy. Let's gut the call. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. I'm taking the whole football analysis course in Barcelona online here, and I'm doing the entire thing. And you learn from how to run the club and why certain players are useful and why you keep them there for one more season before you get rid of them for certain reasons. There's multiple things that you need to do in the back room. All this whole let's just be sensationalize everything and make it sound like it's all a problem. It's not a problem. I'm putting Kai Havertz on the bench. That's a good bench player to have. What is wrong with me? Dude, if the person coming off the bench is Kai Havertz, I'm happy. That tells you the quality of what I have up front already. If my striker is Gyökeres coming off the bench for Julian Alvarez, yes, that tells you that I mean business. But then I'm not going to then go and then bring Bakola because he's good, who does his best work on the left, and then try to shoehorn him into a role that I know Kai Havertz plays perfectly, which is false nine.
Perfectly.
Right? Yeah.
You hear the words perfectly. Yeah. He's
a perfect false nine. You know what a false nine is? You know what a false nine is?
You know he hasn't been perfect.
No. When I say
that's a story for another day.
He's one of the best false nines.
I told you I was going to catch you. I told you I was going to catch you.
I'm telling you that he plays the false nine perfectly. He's one of the best.
This is what it is.
He is one of the best false nines in Europe. Look at the stats. What does the false nine do? What does a false nine do? Here's the question. What does the false? I didn't say striker. I didn't say striker.
Okay. No problem.
So don't come here and
again. No problem. This sets up a good one next week. We can delve into all that.
A striker scores goals. What does a false nine do? Disrupts the defense, drags players out of their position. Kai Havertz is one of the best players at dragging people because they think he can do something, and he creates space for the people that can score. That's what I mean by he does that, and he does it very well fast now. He's always dragging people away. Go look at his game. Go look at his movements. Defenders always follow him, thinking Kai Havertz will do something. We know he can't do anything, but he's dragged that defender away. Guess what? Saka is free. Saka can take a shot on goal. Ball rebounds, Mendy pops it into the net. That's his job, and he does that job well. So let's not sit here and try and do some reverse analysis. And he did that job when he came back from his injury this season. It's that simple. I'm not here to. I look at facts and facts only. In all of Europe, he's ladies
and gentlemen, Arsenal Unhinged. Are you not entertained, people? 2 hours, 40 minutes of hard-hitting questions, hard arguments, people. Yeah, between me and my brother Dayo of the Arsenal Edge, people. It is what it is. If you thought that this episode was, what it is, yeah. Just wait for the second episode. I'm sorry. People, yeah. I'm sorry, yeah. This went on for 2 hours, 30 minutes. That because we had time today. Yeah. From next week, it's gonna be like maybe 1 hour, 10 minutes, 1 hour, 15 or something like that. It's not gonna be this long just because it's the premiere. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for the charts. People, record amount of charts popping up today, people. Thanks very much for showing us the love. Drew Gunners, big up to Red RD, big up to The Assembled, big up to all these other people that showed up for us. Olajide Oluwa, all these people, winners, Miss Melina, yeah, all these people that showed up for us today. Wafu Don, yeah, Drew Gunners, big up to these guys, yeah. Join me and my brother next week. Dayo, you're a star boy. Or let me say star man. Yeah,
I'm not a star man.
Yeah, man is a star man. Yeah. Well, shout out your channel, yeah, and because you're a star man, because I know you do your deals with this big channels. Yeah, these big
What
channels,
deals?
they love you. I mean,
What
these
deals?
big
What are we
channels, they
talking about?
like you. Yeah,
I
they're
don't know.
darling. Probably, and that's because you're one of the most positive fans. Yeah, I mean,
It's not
this
not
big
positive.
channels.
I'm
Yeah,
just I'm a factual.
I mean, when they see people that challenge the authority, yeah, that take up the stand and say as it is, are very balanced with their views. They see the other side, but they're still positive. These big channels don't like people like that. So,
I'm a factual.
it's
I'm
good
a
that
factual.
like you're my brother. I win either way. So it is what it is. So, Dayo, shout out your channel. Tell these people what you're all about and the shows you got coming up, bro.
I honestly right now don't have a bunch of things happening, but you can check out my channel at the Gunner Edge. I should have more content this season. Yeah, I'm not a positive fan. I'm a factual fan. It's about my club first. So I look at the club, I look at the facts, and I look at what works for the club. And I've said this before, if selling Bukayo Saka makes me win the Champions League, I'm selling him. That is me. I'm not one of those, so that narrative that people say, oh, yeah, positive, I'm like, bullshit. I'm just factual. It's very simple. I'm just factual. I look at the facts and I follow the facts. That's it.
People call me top gunner, bro. People call me a top gunner, bro. But bro, if people regard me as a top gunner, then bro, you are something else. Bro. Then
I just look at the
you
facts.
are something else, bro.
I'll tell you this.
Something bro.
I'll tell you this, right? When the Cronkies loaned Arsenal money and did not put any interest on it, I called it out and I said that's a good thing, but financially it's a risk because when PSR comes, they're going to ask you where do you get a loan without any interest payments back. So they had to give them the lowest interest that they could give them.
But again, they don't ask
no. Let me explain why. It's almost
their way through
but hold on. Listen. But my point is because somebody is doing something wrong does not mean that I have to do. Because now that they're catching them and they're finding them and they're in trouble, I don't want that on my.
Who are they catching, bro? Who are they catching? City have been battling this 160
yes,
charges,
but is it? Would you be happy? Would you be happy? Listen. Would you be happy if
Chelsea are not, bro? There's no FFP rules, bro.
I'm coming. Would you be happy?
And Man City, all these big teams.
Would you be happy?
Listen,
would you be
spending money?
I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question. I don't care.
They just put a player for 100 million, bro.
I don't care
about. What are we talking about?
I don't care about all of that. You're being sentimental again. I just care about my club. Would you like it if they're talking about Arsenal and they're talking about charges around Arsenal's name, whether or not they are true or not? I don't want my club associated with such things. The one time we were associated with that, we went under Graham when he was our manager. I know how I felt as an Arsenal fan when the news was writing about, he collected bribe, he knows something about this, he collected money to get a player to come play for Arsenal, he bribed an agent. I was like, this, and because of that, he left the club. He was fired. He had to leave the club because of that. And that's what Arsenal is about. That's the culture that I'm about. If you're an Arsenal fan and you're telling me you don't mind us doing because City is doing it, then you're not really a fan to me. I'm not taking your fanship away, but to me, I will not view you as a fan because the truth is.
Again, I did not say we should do it, but I'm just saying.
I'm not saying you said we should do it.
We're talking about. Are we sure that others are playing by the same books that we're playing? If they're not playing by the same books that we are playing, why can't we buy players?
Listen, let them play by whatever. Let them play by whatever rules they want to play.
City is not getting caught. Chelsea's not getting caught. They even rubbing it in their faces, bro.
Let them play by.
Even rubbing it on their faces, bro.
Let them play by whatever rules.
They're framing all the steals. And they get in away with all this stuff.
Play by whatever
they're
rules.
They're not playing on the same books with the same rules.
I don't care about what rules. Listen, let me tell you what I care about.
So it is what it is.
You know what I care about? I care about Arsenal
what
playing
is
on
good
the
for the goose is good for the gander, bro.
No, I care about what. Let me tell you what it is. I care about Arsenal playing by the right rules and becoming champions. That's how you become a champion. So anybody who wants to play by any dirty rule to win, I'm the champion of England and I played by the good rules. And I played by the books. You cannot point at anything that club has done and say, oh, you have done this, you've done this, and I still won the Premier League coupled with that. So all your cheating and all the stuff that they wanted to do, I still beat you to it. So I don't care. I don't care. So if you sit here and tell me, good for the goose, good for the gander, no. Let the goose and gander let the goose go do what the goose want to do. Me, the gander, I'll stay on track. Yeah, I'll stay on track. And then still win the Champions League the right way. Win the Premier League the right way. That's
let
where
the goose and the gander not be good, eh?
let the goose do what the goose wanna do, and the gander just
Let
stay
the
in
goose
this
do,
position.
let the goose do
Let the
what
goose do whatever the goose wanna do. Share the City and
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you,
on that
Johnny.
note, on that note,
People, I love this
people,
show. People, there's a reason why I changed
ah,
my picture profile, and that because I respect Dayo a lot. You might see me and him arguing about but
oh no, this is us.
of
This is
course,
us. This is
we're both
my brother.
Nigerians, and I love
This is
what
my
Dayo
brother. This
does.
is our way.
Dayo is one of the best in the business, bro. Very
This is
truthful
our way. This is
fella,
my brother,
very
man. I
nice
appreciate you,
to
bro.
have a football chat with. And Dayo, man, I respect you a whole lot. Forget that we'll do all this argument. Yeah, you
Oh
know
no, I
what it is,
respect you.
but
You know it's all love, bro. You know it's all
I
love.
respect you
It's
a
all
whole
love, bro.
lot, bro. You know.
Some people
We
will
can
watch.
do all the
Some
things
people will
for
watch the show.
show, but I really respect, your words, and I respect everything you say, my bro.
Appreciate
I
you, man.
just
I
want you to
appreciate
know
you.
that. Yeah.
I know now.
You want
Tony,
to say
please,
something?
Tony. I said, yeah, I appreciate you, bro. Like, honestly speaking, thanks for having me. I'm going to say this again. People, this is how me and Tony are. This is my guy. Don't worry. You will see all this. Once we get off now, we go
All
back to
this
our normal.
graga.
It's our way as Nigerians. We must shake
Exactly,
body.
man.
We must shake body small. As if somebody,
Shake body small.
no, nobody will grieve for anybody. But on that note, I appreciate
Exactly,
you.
man.
Thank you so much for having me, bro.
Yeah, man. Thanks. Yeah. And see, people, yeah, go on to the Gunner's Edge, yeah, and subscribe to his channel. Yeah, people. Showing some love on his channel, yeah, people, yeah. Of course, he doesn't do content on his own channel that much, but probably
I'm going to
this
start.
season,
I'm going
probably,
to start. Yeah.
those things will change. And yeah, start doing some more stuff. But people, the show is yet to stay. Catch us every week. We're yet to get on the particular day. I will have to talk to him so that we'll have to know on a particular day of doing the show, because people, yeah, this is gonna be my flagship show on the channel going forward, because I enjoy talking to Dayo. Our content just rose originally. Yeah, I don't have to repeat something all the whole time. There's always something to say with Dayo. Always something to say. So the topic is always there. Almost 3 hours. People, non-stop argument, non-stop facts, non-stop, checking each other and talking about Arsenal football. We don't have to reduce ourselves to insults or all this other paddings, all these guys do on their channels. We just have to talk pure football for 3 hours, people. You can't get this anywhere else. So big up to my broski, Dayo, and people, catch us next week. What a premiere, bro. From me and Dayo, we are out, people. Catch us next week, people. Peace.